Okay, well, we're just sorting out some audio issues real quick. Welcome back to another question and answer stream. Thursday night, like every week. And who the fuck is in the chat right now? Anybody who's in the chat right now, let us know if you can actually hear DH or if it's just me right now. And right now, I see Wyatt left a message from early on. We have AJ, Greg the Demon 420, Bionic Atomic, Jasmine Bonga,
There we
Go,
go.
Nina the
It was one
Mystic.
button
Hello.
press.
It always is, dude.
It's always something really dumb. Everyone should hear me now. So yeah, keep saying hi to everybody. I'll shut up.
Yeah. We also have Bionic Atomic and Andrew Phillips and Jasmine Bonanga. I probably mispronounced that. Forgive me.
I think you did.
And super chat from CJ Anger says boobies.
Boobies! Boobies! What do you think this is? Friday night
Appreciate
with
you,
the
dude.
Garretts? What the hell? Here's one.
I mean,
oh.
I can't really compete there. Saying, wouldn't it be a good beer, boobs, and black magic? I've only got like an A cup if I work them right.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I think I'm like an A plus. I don't know. Yeah. Mine don't jiggle, they just kind of dance a little bit. I don't know. You're not...
Save
I'm
it for
just
the
fat enough to
OnlyFans.
have them and just muscly enough to not. It's very sad. Oh, you know, let's put some lights on. Here we go. So how do you like
Yeah.
my Lovecraft bauble that I have brewing over here?
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me check that out with. That is fucking dope. I
I
love
thought it
that.
was dope. I loved it. I can change the colors too, but I think I'm gonna leave it on trippy ass green for tonight. Lovecraft green, we'll call that.
Yeah, no, I dig it. You might hate me for saying this, but it reminds me of fucking Hermaeus Mora
Yep,
from the Elder
sure.
Scrolls, which is basically a Lovecraft deity, just not
It's
written by Lovecraft.
yeah, it's basically Yogg.
Yeah.
It's basically Yogg. So yeah, get a little bit of incense going so I can kill my computer a little quicker.
So while we are getting set up tonight, those of you who are familiar to the show, you know the normal deal. If you have questions you want us to talk about, go ahead and hit them in the chat. Super chats go to the top of the list. We'll try to get to as many questions as we can. Tag Yepsen, Yepsen, with a question or put in all caps. That way it's easiest for us to catch them. And we are we are like a boat in still water right now. We just need a little bit of air to send us off in any old direction.
Oh, I know what I can talk about tonight, but I'm gonna wait a little bit because I'm gonna rant and I'm gonna rave and I'm gonna be like, enough. No,
Oh,
honestly, the
okay,
thing
I'm
that's
gonna
on
have
my
to get the stick.
no, wouldn't be a stick. The thing that is mostly on my mind right now is my fucking awesome shirt, which I'm not gonna reveal. Fuck all y'all. You just have to believe me. Um, Actually, you know what? I
Okay.
don't like the way it's cut because for me, I like if I don't wear the vest, I don't like the way it looks. But with the vest, it looks cool. It's a sleeveless shirt. I tried one of the ones from my own store. Oh, no, but it's a cool print. I'm gonna see if I can adjust it and make it a little bit better. I think it's the way the print is. It's not the print. The print's fine. Looks cool. It's the way it's cut. So I'm gonna try the regular T-shirt version next. See if I like that. Because you know what I mean. I don't like branded shirts. Not even my own brand. But I might make an exception for this because Legion's badass. So.
Yeah, I only like wearing branded shirts if it's like a small brand like Mom and Pop or like somebody who I know. Like I'll fucking wear the shit out of one of your shirts or EA's or L the Alchemist's. Like fuck yeah, I love wearing that shit. I'm not gonna pay $50 for a fucking t-shirt with a Nike logo this
I
big on the chest,
completely
bro.
agree.
Fuck that.
I completely agree. And I don't like wearing even Friends ones, but I will wear Friends ones by comparison if it's cool looking. If it's cool looking.
Yeah.
I'm too hipster goth to do that. Like, you know, like Calvin Klein is as far as I go. The little logo on the hip that no one can see. So, yeah. So, yeah, as Fleshy was saying, if you guys want us to respond to your questions, Super Chat is always going to get our attention. Thank you again, CJ. all caps will also get my attention. I know some people don't like that. Normally that's shouting, I guess. But I sit like a good 4 feet away from my monitor, and I do wear some spectacles over here. So I actually need you guys to put it in chat. If you put it in all caps, we know it's directed at us. Mm-hmm. So if you put it in all caps and it's a reasonable question, yeah, if it's a reasonable question, we're more likely to get to it. And if you tag Yepson, that's the other way. And while we're at it, thank you, Nina, for showing up and being another part of the wrench crew over here. I appreciate you very much. Somewhere Camilla might be watching as well. If she is, we thank her as well. She's kind of busy tonight messing with some stuff on her computer, but yeah, we thank you. And Go, I see you there. So yeah.
We actually do have one question to start off with from Jasmine Bonaga.
Okay.
Please help me out with the pronunciation there, because I feel like I'm butchering it. They wrote, just wondering if Lucifer and Hidden Demons has worked for you. I need a good book recommendation. I'm a newbie. I've been calmer ever since I called on Lucifer with LHD.
Yeah, so I don't work with other people's work much. I will occasionally do so. I will occasionally review other people's stuff a little bit. Generally speaking, I'm my own oracle, if you will. I do not really enjoy the feeling like I am, how do I put this? As an artist, I like to do my own art, and I like to be inspired by other artists. So friends like EA and some other people, they'll inspire me, but I don't use their work very much. If I use their work at all, it's as a basis for inspiration. And in that case, what I usually do is I'll read through something, pick out a few things I like, and then make my own rituals and things out of that. I do not use other people's findings very much, with the exception, of course, of things that would be, anthropological stuff that they find out in history, all that kind of stuff. That I look for. That stuff is always interesting to me.
You take what I've started calling like the chef's approach to magic workings, where I don't know anybody who is serious about cooking who isn't just starting out that follows any recipe exact. Whether it's like improvising, I don't have this, so I'm going to mix in this, or, oh, I fucking hate cilantro, I'm going to use parsley instead. It's never a one-for-one from whatever recipe you get it from. It's always, I'm going to make this suit me, even though I've never tried it before.
I'm going to say that's very accurate. I'm not going to say that there is no, we'll say, formula that can help you. When you're a beginner, you definitely have things that you want to follow, I guess, because you don't have faith in your own intuition. But as I am coming to learn, and my current book that I'm writing is centered around a completely different paradigm of magic, and I'm hoping that it's going to be something new. Although I hear some people talking about, I forget what the books were, that said that some of the things I've been saying are a little bit like what was in somebody's book or somebody else's thing. So I don't know if I've ever actually come up with anything new. I think what happens is people like me who are creative, we kind of get guided into just sort of, speaking about things that are in the collective conscious through our own language and metaphors. And so they translate differently. I think that's maybe a better way to put it. But back to the original question. No, I've never worked with that book. I don't plan on working with that book. I have no interest in that book. I've got my own knowledge and relationship with the entity that I call Lucifer. That is more than enough for me. And I base it upon my own experiences and my own studies. Mostly, obviously my own interactions, but also my own research into the subject. If you are interested in what I recommend as a beginner's book, I could recommend my book, Become the Maelstrom, but some people get really weirded out when you recommend your own work when someone asks you a sincere question, so I don't want to go too far into that.
It's weird because it's a self-plug, but also you wrote that with the intentionality of helping somebody start out, so it's like, how could I feel like you're just being genuine with that.
Yeah, but still, a lot of people, here's the reason why I'm hesitant, because there's a lot of, we'll say, people anticipate that someone like me is going to be some sort of a charlatan or make stuff up or sort of try to steer you into my products, because there is a little bit of a bad rap in the spiritual community, especially the left-hand path community, because a lot of us who are successful at it turned it into a business because, hey, left-hand path, you know, no taboos. I'm allowed to make money doing what I believe in.
You know what? I'd like to put a bookmark in that for right now, because there's a question coming up that I want to get to that's related to that.
Okay. All right.
So I'll ask this one because it came in first, just before it. From Gogo writes, what do you think about people who say they are prophets?
Why aren't you one?
Are we not all prophets?
Yeah, that's the thing that, you know, what makes someone a prophet or not? Usually someone who claims that they are a prophet is just blowing smoke so that they can get your money, quite frankly. That's not to say that that's always the case, but generally speaking, a legitimate prophet never claims to be one. Everyone else says they're a prophet, and a prophet is known by the value of their prophecy. The misunderstanding is that prophecy is future telling, fortune telling, that it's going to be somehow kind of like a future textbook that tells you the future. That's not what prophecy is. Prophecy in its proper context is something that opens your mind in such a way that when the events transpire, you go, holy crap, this is what people talked about. It's like a synchronistic awareness. A true prophecy is never going to be at 3 o'clock on Tuesday during a full moon in the year 2032, you're going to win the lotto. That's not a prophecy. That is a fortune-telling gimmick. A real prophecy is going to be enigmatic. It's going to be something that will only be known to be true when it transpires. At that point, then the person is known as a prophet. It's going to be something that is difficult to interpret until it happens. And then when it happens, that interpretation will have some sort of important meaning to the person it was told to, so that it gives them some sort of a faith or some sort of a guidance. It's going to be something that makes them realize that everything's going to be the way it's supposed to be. Not necessarily like in a good way. It might be really bad. But you're going to feel like, yeah, this was foretold. I'm in the place that I knew was coming. And as a child, I had done a lot of prophecy as a child about the current era we're living in. And pretty much, I'm going to say 90 to 98% of it, I don't know where, I don't have it like mathed out. But in that ballpark, that's how relevant my prophecies have become. Literally everything when I was a kid that I said, in some fashion has come to pass. Maybe not word for word, like in Army of Darkness. I didn't say every little word and every little syllable, but Klaatu Verata, kind of like that. I mean, I guess I qualify as like a soft ash, right? I guess in a way. Let me get my shotgun.
Yeah, no, I could see it. You're ash with a bunch of stuff like. Don't copy the homework exact. Mix a couple things around.
Right.
You went looking for the haunted house, motherfucker.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't have cut my arm off, though. I would have taken that demon hand and I would have used it. But that's just me. But yeah, so, people who claim to be prophets, it's one thing to say that you've prophesied something, but a prophet is a title. And someone who claims to be a prophet is looking to be an entitled person, right? Like I can't think of a better way to describe it. Someone who's saying I'm a prophet, it's like when someone says I'm a guru. Now, if I ever say that, it's because someone has said that about me. I don't see myself as a guru. When someone says, Thorne, you're a great teacher, you're a great guru and all this, yeah, my ego swells up a little bit. And my first reaction is to say, actually, hold up. The reality is I'm a lot of hot air and noise that your inner guru wants you to listen to for whatever reason. Your inner guru is saying, listen to this for whatever reason. Not even because I'm right. It's because your inner guru thinks that something I'm saying is important. That's why you like what I'm saying.
It's just like you said, and I might be, I'm probably paraphrasing this a bit, but in relation to Alan Watts, you said, he told me nothing that I didn't already know myself.
Precisely. And that's how you know. It's not that you agree with me. Here's the thing. Like, people will misunderstand. I'm saying like, oh, so you're saying only people who agree with you really get it. And they're no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that everything I'm saying is only for those people who will understand it. And for everybody else, it may be wrong. And whatever I'm saying right now to you tonight, or any other night that I'm doing these streams, you might listen to and go, what a crock of shit. I don't agree with this guy. And that's not only your right, it's your responsibility to feel that way if that's how you feel. Yes, there are times I put my foot down and say, no, this is objectively what I think it is. But most of the time, I'm coming here as like a scout that's gone over the mountain and through the woods, and I saw some crazy shit, and I'm bringing back a report, and you get to decide what you think of it and act on it how you see fit. I don't expect you to act a certain way or to believe a certain way, with some exceptions. Everyone has some exceptions. I mean, if I tell you, look out, a train's coming, I'm really hoping you're going to listen to me, but for the most part, right, I'm basically saying that what I'm telling you, it's not that I want you to take it with a grain of salt. I expect you to, but it's not that I'm saying take it with a grain of salt because some of it's bullshit. It's because it's through the lens of a guy who's been around the block a few thousand times when it comes to these things. And so my experience may only be relevant to someone like me. There's a lot of people who are going to hear me who are just not going to get it. And that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. So just don't be a hater. If you're not a hater, then we're cool. If you listen to me and go, what an asshole, he's all egoistic and blah, 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 goodbye. I didn't ask you to be here. I mean, I might have said, please join my show, but I didn't say live here. I'm not saying stay here. I'm saying just check it out. If you don't like it, then leave. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look at, I'll pat him on the back a little bit. CM Helnikainen. You and him disagree on quite a few of the finer points, but still a good friend of the show. Good
yeah,
buddy.
Exactly. And I mean, and I do hold out hope that someday I will contort his brain into the right directions on things, but I'm sure he feels the same way about me. But
you keep saying that about me too, and I'm still here just a stick in the mud.
Well, you'd be surprised how that works. Give it some time. You're all young. I remember being like you guys a little bit. So, things change.
Dad.
That's right, Dad. I remember you said, like, you're like the age of my mom, and I'm like, fuck. At least I don't feel it.
Yeah, I always forget about that. It's weird to think about.
I have that chameleon personality. It's getting a little harder though, because as I've become more and more fed up with the general world, I'm paying less and less attention to it. So it's harder for me to keep up with the lingo. Like, what do we say now? It's hip and hopping in. What are we saying? How do we call?
Oh, dude, I'm in my late 20s and I'm already hitting that point.
Yeah, I feel you.
If you haven't, like, if we're just reaching that same moment there, then you've held out a lot longer than me, I think.
Well, on the bright side, it's kind of like when I was a kid and the 70s came back. Not a kid, but as I got a little older, the 70s came back. So a lot of the millennial kids got turned on to like the 70s shit. So it was kind of like I got it. Now the Gen Z kids are all into the 80s stuff. So it's like, oh, fuck, they're talking my language. I can do this.
And then at some point, there's going to be a 90s resurgence.
I'll be fine then, too. I'll be good. I'm good for at least another 20 years then.
I don't know. There's some things about the 90s that should probably stay dead, though. Kurt Cobain, he can come back. I'd hang out with his zombie. I want him to tell the truth about Courtney Love and how
I'd like to know
how she self-toaster bathed him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, she's like the Hillary Clinton of rock and roll, man. That's what she is.
Yeah.
Just a much smaller kill count. I mean, not kill count, suicide count. Make sure you take all of your shots, guys. I'm not a doctor, by the way. Make sure you trust the system. Don't listen to anything I say. This is just entertainment. We love the government on this channel, don't we, guys?
What a fucking segue off of talking about Courtney Love and Kurt Cobain to take all your shots. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Oof.
Okay, fucking... Next
that's a lot of cringe. I love it. That was a lot of cringe. You got me. I was like, I swallowed like lima beans for the first time in 20 years. Oh yeah.
Okay, so
let me ask you, you're a vegan type. Do you like lima beans?
You know what? I can't remember ever actually trying lima beans. I think maybe once and I didn't care for them, but yeah.
Where do you even get them anymore? It used to be everybody had lima beans. When I was a kid, every parent was like, here, have your lima beans. I'm like, and now it's like, I'm not even sure they have them at the store anymore. Like, I'm not even sure.
Yeah, no, my mom had a rule, which was if she would not eat the food herself, she would not make us eat it. And I know she hated lima beans. So that might be why we never had to try them, endure them. I'm not sure.
I remember when my wife and I first got married, he's my stepson. So I didn't raise him from, well, I kind of did. I knew him when he was very little. So he is my son to me. Like, I don't even, but when we first got married, his first week with me, like as a full-fledged parent, not just a when we're hanging out parent.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, what do you want for lunch? He's like, oh, I want grilled cheese. I'm like, good choice. I'm going to give it to you with ketchup. He's like, yeah. And so he gets like all like he's going to be like obstinate. I'm like, oh, no, you're going to have it with ketchup. Cause I figured, you know, you're 5 years old. You've got to try food. I'm not going to do this thing where little kids get to decide what they eat. That's, to me, it's like, you got to try something. Then you can you got to really try it though. Like you got to not just, you got to like put it all the way in your mouth. Okay. And then if you really, really hate it, we'll try it again in a few months. That's all.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good rule. Try it if you really can't stand it. Whatever.
I can tell, right? Like most parents, like, and I hate it when parents are just like, here, don't eat anything you don't want, and kids just grow up only eating chicken and French fries, right? That drives me up a fucking wall.
I lived with people who their McDonald's order was take off everything, just meat and ketchup. Like, why aren't you living?
Right? Like, how do you live? Like, how do you do that?
Let's go back to that whole fucking the Japanese 21 virtues or whatever. Like, good food. It's out there. You can have it. So I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, it's fine. All I was gonna say was, I was just like, here, have some damn ketchup on your grill. And the tears, dude, the tears. If I was on TikTok, I'd be canceled right now. The tears were just like flowing and flowing, and I didn't do nothing. I was just like, nope, you're gonna eat it. Just eat it. Just being stern, not even yelling. Nope, you're gonna eat it. You're not stepping away from lunch till you eat. And he's crying, and finally he eats it, and the tears like get sucked back up into his head, and he's like, that is good. I'm like, yeah, it's fun, especially now that you're crying. Everything tastes better when you're crying. Am I wrong?
You know what? Tempai of her says, what the fuck? Tomato soup? Not ketchup with grilled cheese?
Yeah, tomato soup's good with that too.
I put the emphasis on the wrong syllables there.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's fair. Yeah. No, I agree. Tomato soup, not cat soup, is grilled with grilled cheese. Yes, I agree. Tomato soup is very good. I definitely agree with that. The only problem is, like, if I have tomato soup, it'll make me a little barfy. But anyway, why are we talking about tomato soup? This is like a sorcery and magic and spirituality stream, and we're like all over the map.
Whoop! Right back to that bookmark.
Oh yeah.
So Chthonic Tonic, I like this question. Says, so we heard about rabid dogs and witch wars, yellow and red flags. What are some green flags in the occult community? Some indicators of a healthy or less toxic way to go.
Brutal, honest sincerity.
Yeah. Anybody who's not afraid to show all the ugly parts about what they do too, all the mistakes, and hey, I'm not about that anymore. This is sincere at the time, but I've changed my views. Shit like that. That's a good sign for me. Anybody who's that open and honest about themselves.
I expect people to put their best foot forward. That's not the problem. The problem is when they cover up or act like it's only positive, or when they only talk about the successes, or I'm not saying you have to like show your dirty underwear to everybody. What I'm saying is that a sincere magician, a sincere sorcerer, a sincere spiritualist, a sincere prophet, a sincere guru doesn't hide anything unless it's something that's like, I'm not going to tell you my social security number, but I'm not going to hide. But I'm not going to hide the fact that I get financial troubles, or, EA is not going to hide that he's got trouble with, this, that, and other thing. We've all got problems in things, and we try to put our best foot forward, but we're real about it. That's a very difficult thing, though, for the average person, So here's what I recommend, especially if you're looking for someone doing services for you. Number one, they've got to be willing to show the work on video. If not video, I really don't. I know that there's people that I do respect who only do photographs, but they had better be obviously in the moment photographs where you're seeing your name on the sigils and stuff. You're seeing your stuff, because there's a lot of charlatan motherfuckers out there who they will take a picture of their altar 5 years ago and keep using that same picture as evidence that they did a ritual for people for like 5 years and never do the rituals. I'm not lying. I've unfortunately not just known those people, I've been involved with people like that, and I'm no longer. Those people exist out there, and I will never endorse them. That kind of shit to me is beyond. That's a scam. Like that. What else can we call it? That's a scam artist. They're not a real legit magician. So I would require, if you're doing rituals, if you're getting rituals done from people, that you require or request live evidence. Now, if they can't do, like I do a full produced video, not everybody can really do that. I accept that. But then they should be willing to show you a short 60-second clip of them with their phone doing the ritual and then sending that to you with clear evidence that that's your ritual. At the veriest leastiest, okay, to invent a new phrase, at the veriest leastiest, I would demand it. If they're not willing to do that, turn around and go the other way very quickly, because they're probably a scammer.
And I know there are some, like we've talked to Jen Vatsa, who she does the jar magic spells and whatnot, where she was reasoning like it just doesn't make, there's not much happening with this actively to justify a video, which I could see the reasoning of that. I don't know if it's 100% applicable in every situation, but even with that, like she does put out photographs and everything proving like I did this is specialized to you. Like, just if you're going for ritual services, look for it and just activate a little bit of that critic. Just, could I fake this? If I was in this position, would I be able to pass off not doing the work in some way?
Even to Jen, I would suggest at least take that little 30, 40, 50-second video clip some point during the ritual where you can prove that it's their thing, so that you're giving them the confidence. Now, I'm a little different than everybody else. I know some people get very self-conscious, or I've heard the excuse the spirit didn't want me to do it, and that I believe once in a blue moon, because that does occasionally, rarely happen. I've done rituals where I fully intended to put them up online, set out recording them, and then the spirit was like, nope, and the camera stopped working, the audio stops working, something's fucked on it and it won't go through. I did a ritual with King Balaam trying to find out the truth about Epstein and what happened. And that video, I got some ridiculous gnosis and I'm like possessed almost through the whole thing. And all the audio was just, it was just like fucked. I'm like, what the fuck? How did that even happen?
It's like the screams of millions of children.
I guess, yeah, right? I mean, it was really fucked. So that video never saw the light of day. I took that as a message that I was not meant. Plus, I got a little scared through it, and some other stuff happened. So I did not put that up, and I never will. But I don't mind telling you guys now what I saw, because it's so far in the past that it doesn't matter anymore. But definitely, did not delete himself. We'll put it that way. At least not at that point. So, so sincerity. Not just confidence, but sincere confidence, right? What that means is they're not ashamed of failure, right? Sincere confidence means like a little bit of pride. They're proud. They love themselves even when they fuck up. That's an important thing. Another thing is they should have evidence that magic works for them. That's a really big one. I think
that's important.
If you are dealing with someone and they're living in their mother's basement, their father's basement, they're struggling to have a functional life, unless you can absolutely tell that the reason their life is fucked up is because their magic is just so crazy, which shouldn't be most of the time. Like a legit prophet rarely has a happy life. Like we'll give them that.
Yeah,
that little bit.
Everybody's got their shit.
Yeah. So, for the most part, if someone's claiming to be a sorcerer or a magician, I'm leaning more and more towards calling myself a sorcerer now, because magician to me is like a little hokey. Sorcerer actually makes more sense. If you look up the origin of the word sorcerer, it means someone who is able to alter fate. And that is way more along the lines of how I see myself.
And, going by the D&D definitions, I feel like that's more accurate to you too.
Yeah, I could see that, like a little bit more charismatic than, not that I'm not intelligent, I have an IQ of 140, but it's not about
I just
book learning.
I
actually knew what you meant. I actually knew what you meant.
Yeah.
No, I actually knew what you meant.
Just making sure.
No, I did know what you meant, because I know you know, and I know that I know, and you know, and they know, and everybody knows. No, I totally agree with you, because to me it's magic from the source of my being, and that's what it is. It's not, oh look, I recited something out of a scroll the right way. That I'm not a nerd like that, even though I am a gigantic nerd. It's not, that's not where it comes from for me. For me, it's all about the intuitive connection with source consciousness that allows me to literally navigate the timeline in such a way that I can adjust what I expect my future manifestations to be. What that actually means is, and I'm actually retooling my ritual offerings page soon, because I'm changing that up a lot. I'm really getting sick and tired of things, and I'll bring that up later, but I am retooling what offerings I'm going to be doing for ritual work, because I'm a little tired of the usual stuff, and I want to change like the perception a little bit of what people expect, but we'll talk about that maybe a little bit. So the person really should be able to demonstrate that their life has changed for the better because of their practices. And when I say for the better, I don't mean they're rich, right? I don't mean that they're able to fly on magic carpets. I don't mean that they are a player. I mean they're well adjusted in their life. That is to say, they're content. Their life is mostly comfortable, in the sense that doesn't mean it's always easy. Comfortable doesn't necessarily mean easy. Comfortable means that you are not egoistically attached to all of your problems and suffering because of it. It still happens to the best of us, by the way. So you should see some of that. But what I'm saying is that they're not telling you. So like, a big red flag is if you request a ritual for someone and they don't hesitate at all. And they're like, oh, I can do anything you want. Oh, yeah, you want me to bring back an ex-lover? Sure. You want me to bring back the dead? Sure. You want me to... That's always tons of red flags. It's got to be realistic expectations, and they should also be probing you. Shut up, Fleshy. They should be probing you for what your truest will and intent is, what your real divine intention is. Because most of the time, if you come to me, you're in a crisis or you have a real big need that you're willing to spend the money on. And if you're coming to me with that need, then my job is not to facilitate that, because most of the time you're in an egoistic place where you're suffering and you think the answer is to get this object of your desire. Sometimes it is, but more often than you realize, the reason you're going through this problem is because you're supposed to, because there's something you're not dealing with. So my job as a true sorcerer is not to give you what you want, but to bend the timelines of our conjoined fate experience so that you experience what your divine will sent you here to talk to me about. You come to me going, I can't find love. I don't know what's going on. So I'll do a ritual to help you find love. That's not going to be the problem. The problem is you might need to completely redefine what that means for you. And you might need to lay off and go easy on what you expect love to be like. You know, maybe, you know, you've got to realize that this love that you're looking for might be 10 years in the future. It might not be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? So be patient. Maybe it's not the kind of person you think it's going to be with. You might be like, oh, I want them to be a handsome, financially successful. Some people are just like, I don't care. Just let them be cool and not abuse me. That's cool too. But they have these specific things and they don't realize that their specificity or their... Look, I don't know about you. Like when I go looking for love when I was younger, I didn't have, they have to be this way, that way, and this way. I have to be attracted to them physically. I have to be attracted to them mentally. They can't be high maintenance, but they can't be no maintenance either. Like, I don't want somebody that's like going to not, you know, want to be around me because they got to, like, you know, they're going to see me as like, well, I don't need you at all, you know, bored of me or something. Not that I want them to need me, but it was very simple, right? It was very basic. It was very broad category. Don't smell bad, right? The easy stuff. It's not complicated. Other people are like, oh, they've got to be rich and they've got to be successful and no kids and no this and tons of that. And they got to finish with college. You got to have a career. And they got, whoa, like just, that's not what love is, guys. That's a contract you're looking for. Now I get it. Marriage is a contract, but wait till you get that far.
Yeah, but it's like you're fucking like trying to figure out what player to sign for the fucking draft, or I don't know, a sports reference. I'm not a sports guy, could you tell?
And, I mean, I'm not saying none of those things matter. I'm just saying ease off is all I'm saying. Anyway, we got a big old super che right there.
Yeah,
let me press the button. I haven't pressed the button. That was a 20. That's corny ass shit. They do. They say I'm crazy. They really fucking do. What the hell?
So we actually got 2 super chats. One from Jay Sauber. Thank you very much, dude.
Thank you,
always.
Jay. Appreciate you always, man.
Question from AJ says, looking forward into the future, do you foresee an economic collapse in the USA or more of a slow decline? What types of metaphysical things can one do to prepare for such events?
So Fleshy...
Very light topic.
Yeah, you might want to go and make some tea or something. I will try to keep it more to predictive than political. All right. Inevitably, yes. I see there's only a few ways that could not happen. I do foresee the very strong likelihood. When we say economic collapse, I don't necessarily mean all hell breaking loose like Serbia, everyone's going to be dragged into the streets and shot because they're poor kind of. I see probably more towards the slow decline method with a lot of bumps going. I know that's like a safe answer. But here's something I said on Discord today. I say, if you look at our culture right now, there's one metric that no one seems to ever pay attention to, and that is the pop culture metric. If you see a lot of blockbuster movies coming out, you can rest assured that the movie industry thinks everyone's going to have money and want to go see movies. They're going to have a lot of free time and a lot of free money that they're willing to go blow on unimportant things. Same thing with video games. If, on the other hand, you see a dearth or whatever, I think that's the right word, of content where there's really not a lot, then you can also surmise that they're expecting people are going to be poor. Now, they know way more than we know. Okay, they're insiders. They know what's going to come. They know this is one of the ways that anybody who's paying attention in 2019 and 2020 could tell you shit was about to go down, because it's like, where's all the big blockbusters that were supposed to come out? I'm saying before COVID really hit hard. I'm saying when it was just a little murmur on the horizon, I was like, you know why I'm worried? Because there's only one movie that's supposed to come out this year that I even care to see. Marvel's done, everybody's done, all the big stuff's done. Dune's coming out, that was it. And they were already announcing and making sounds that they were delaying it. And a lot of the other stuff was going, home streaming. So I'm like, that's a bad sign, because, that's like, so right now I feel like not a prophet, but a shaman, that's what I meant to say, who sees, like, in the distance, all the crows are flying away. And everyone thinks they're magical because they see what's coming because of that, right? They're like, no, I just know, I feel nature right now. So that's a part of it. Number 2, the objective of the globalist plan is not to just take over. They've already taken over. This country's been taken over for over a generation, 2, 3, 4, probably back into like the early 1900s, but we won't go into that right now. It's well and truly fucked at this point. So what is their policy and their plan? Everything they've been doing since, at the very least, Clinton. Actually, earlier than that, if you know the deeper history and secrets of stuff that's going on. But at the very easiest to point to, from that period forward, everything was about slowly undermining the U.S., both in terms of economics, geopolitical power around the world, degrading trust that the world had in us, degrading trust that the people had in the government, creating a situation where everyone has a bone to pick with what's going on. 9/11 was, whether you think it was staged or not, was used as a pretext to
Dick Cheney allowed 9/11 to happen.
Not just allowed, but anyway, in my opinion. But that was used to undermine civil rights around the world, but especially in the United States, all in the name of safety. They scared the shit out of the normies and made them willing to give up their essential freedom for a little illusion of safety. And that just got they just kept dropping more and more weight on that idea ever since then, until people got normalized to it. It started off with everybody being pissed. Why are you touching my kids at the airport too? Just hurry up, right? And now we're beyond that. Now it's like, did you get his asshole too? Or just, and people are like completely normalized with it, and it's fine to them, and it's disgusting to me. That's one reason I don't like flying. I really don't want to go through all that shit. So all of this stuff has been put into place to undermine our morale and belief and cohesion. It's a multi-pronged assault that's meant to destroy our international, our social, and our economic strength. Right now, we are in probably the last major phase of it, because we've reached the point where we're beyond undermining our international support. We're beyond undermining our social support, because the American and most of the Western, to be honest, culture is completely divided against itself at this point. Let's put it this way. I think me and Fleshy, for the most part, identify the same problems, maybe, or the same bad guys. We both don't like the same establishment for the most part. But we have different heroes that don't agree. And so we don't agree. Even though we both identify, hey, that's a problem, I don't like that, the solution's different. And this gets taken to extremes where, instead of, like Fleshy said earlier, where me and CM can disagree, or me and Fleshy can disagree, it turns into an othering of that person. That othering is by design. Instead of, that's the whole reason why everything's full of cancel culture on both sides. Okay, you have like hardcore conservatives trying to cancel this show, and then you've got the other side canceling people like me for no reason. All of this stuff feeds into a society of total paranoia and loathing for one another. And it's working. It's working on me, and I know better. I look at everybody around and go, I will probably hate you. Oh, you're one of them. I don't like you now. And I can't deny it. It's working perfectly. Like, you can ask Fleshy, like, every day I say again, I just want to go into a cabin in the woods at this point and never talk to anybody again.
Said it twice today.
I said it twice today, yeah. So
I can't blame you, though. I'm right there with you. It's like, if I could just find a way to stretch an Ethernet cable that far out, because I am all for the cabin life, go off grid, but there's still
I need my steam.
Little parts of the grid I'm not ready to give up yet.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit more before I can, but you know what? It's also getting harder to buy property and everything else. Absolutely. So the collapse that we're going to be looking at is not going to be Mad Max. That's not what's coming anytime soon anyway. The elite's motto is order out of chaos, okay? They're not looking to collapse into deeper chaos. What they're looking to do is to collapse into deeper order. So that means if they do cause civil war, civil unrest, all of that, there's going to be a guided hand behind it all, so it's all aimed in directions that they want. So let's say there's an economic collapse like we're talking about. They're not going to make it so that, yeah, a lot of people might die because of it. There might be a lot of poverty, a lot of strife, a lot of stress, but it's not going to be Mad Max. You're all these people who are preparing right now for an immediate problem like next year, there's probably going to be something. I don't know what, but I'm feeling like we're in the middle of a lull right now. Like, their job right now is to destroy confidence in the establishment and the government in general. They want everybody fighting against each other and the system.
You think it's the deceptively long buildup right before the mosh pit?
Yeah, could be. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The real hit, like, if you want to know when I think most of hell's going to break loose, like, try 2030, somewhere in that ballpark. I don't know when, but, I'll be in my 50s, Fleshy will be in his 40s, 30s. That's when we're really going to see, like, anybody who's listening to me now going, I don't think so. In the 2030s, remember Thorne and be like, fuck, I should have listened some. Not everything he said happened the way he said, but a lot of it happened. Oh shit, I should have been paying attention. I wish I had this. I wish I had that now. I don't know when. See, I'm not a fortune teller. I can just tell you, like, yeah, the all the crows are going that way, and I smell smoke over there. I have a feeling there's a forest fire. We should probably go. I don't know when it's coming. I don't know how bad it's going to be. Fleshy just vanished. That's pretty cool. Nope, he's back. I don't know when it's coming. I don't know how bad it's going to be. But my recommendation is this. You can never go wrong with having some stored food and some basic essentials and a place to weather a storm. That's never bad. You literally, you can't go wrong, and it doesn't have to cost you a lot. Right now, the biggest thing that I see on the radar is supply chain shortages and shit like that for the foreseeable future. I'm seeing a lot of murmurings from people telling me you're not going to be able to get this, you're not going to be able to get that. We'll see how that happens. But you know what? A couple $100, you can get a few extra weeks of storable food. A little bit more, you can get months, years worth. And it's not a bad idea. I don't make any money on that, by the way. I don't have any stock in those things.
I just wanted to point out, maybe just as an excuse to do this, that C. Helnikainen said, yeah, the future is going to be more cyberpunk than Mad Max.
He wishes. He absolutely wishes. If it's cyberpunk, it's not going to be the kind of cyberpunk that's cool. It's going to be the 1984. It's going to be the 1984 version. I'm telling you, it's going to be. Go look at how China is right now with their cyberpunk. That's what we're looking at. You're not going to be sitting there hacking the state and all this cool shit. No, you're not going to be able to buy. You're not going to be able to sell. Black market, haha, they'll be tracking that shit back and front. If it exists, it's going to be what they allow. Any freedom you're going to have is illusory. It's not going to be, yeah, you might have some cool shit where you can, the very rich will have like prosthetic body parts that look cool or something, maybe. You're not going to have that. You're not going to have any of that cool shit. I'm telling you, Brave New World in 1984, that's what you need to be looking at, because that's what we already kind of have, and it's only going to get worse like that. The cyberpunk future is hyper-capitalistic dystopia, not the free market capitalist, the hyper-corporatist dystopia. That's what that is. You're not going to get
post late stage capitalism.
post. And I wish
post
people
Malone,
would stop.
post late stage capitalism.
To borrow a phrase from the commie playbook, it's not real capitalism. Like, I wish we'd stop calling it. It's capitalistic, sure, but it's not capitalism. Like, true capitalism, free market capitalism doesn't look like that. Just like,
so it's okay for you to use the. It's not
I was
actually.
hoping I'd get you on
that. I use it.
Hey, you know my feelings on that. If we lived in a truly free society, you'd be able to have a commune of, even city size if you wanted to. You can live in whatever communistic system you want. It's just got to be voluntary. Why can't people understand the point of voluntarism? If it's not voluntary, you're breaking my personal freedom. I don't care how good an idea it is on paper. If you say you must comply and it's not golden rule oriented, like, I'm not going to kill you or steal from you, that's fair, right? Because I'm not imposing on your personal rights when I expect that from you. But when you require that I participate in your, not just like freedom, like that's like saying like, well, you're expecting me to participate in your world. The difference is you can do what you want in my world. I can't do what I want in your world. That's voluntarism. So I'm not saying that there isn't a model that might exist that's voluntary. I just have yet to see it. All the systems that people talk about from the left are authoritarian on some level. Now, you could argue fairly, to be totally devil's advocate, some authoritarian system is necessary to keep people from killing each other, or, to make sure we don't pollute everything, or whatever. So there's always some wiggle room in it, but there's no such thing as a utopia either. So my litmus test is, how much am I impinging on someone's personal freedom, and how much is their personal freedom going to impinge on me? And where's that happy medium where you get to live the life you want, I get to live the life I want? We're not obligated to each other except to tolerate each other. If that's all in place, to be brutally honest, there's no reason why we both can't get what we want on someone. There's literally no reason. So in a truly free society, You can have the most communistic system you want so long as it's voluntary. If you say, hey, I want to make a city where everybody pays into a public trust or whatever it is, and nobody owns property and all of that stuff, whatever you think that means for you. So long as if I join that and don't like it, I can leave. You can even give me a contract. Contracts are fine in a free society, but the contract should have stipulations where I can leave. There's term limits, all that shit. If I want to leave in 2 years, I can. You know, whatever it is. But that's never going to happen, at least according to any of the doctrines I've seen. It's always my way or the highway. Join it or die, right? And that's never said. It's always, well, it's a democratic system, meaning my say won't count because I'll be in a minority, is what that means. It means that I still won't get what I want. All I want is to be left alone. I want to live in that cabin in the woods and make my own decisions out of my life, not be told what I need to put in my body, not be told whether I can have an abortion or not, be married or not, who to fuck or not. So that's the anarchistic side that a lot of people love, like the, what is it? Oh my goodness. Anarcho-communist, anarcho-socialist.
Anarcho-capitalism?
No, that's... Yeah, maybe anarcho-communist.
I was reading comments. I was distracted. We have Vatorius who says, DH should grift the black magic preparedness niche. I'd buy some private label Shadownomican food that lasts for 25 years.
I should. I really should. If I was more of a grifter, I would. I'll leave that to you, VT.
And CM Helnikainen says, Dark Magic Prepper Buckets coming soon. Keep your eye on the newsletter.
Way to put us back on the track instead of just the rant. But yeah, so metaphysical things you can do about this. Shadow work, shadow work, shadow work, shadow work, shadow work. That's it.
If you
because what's coming is like it's a natural disaster level. It's like a comet coming. You're not going to be able to, instead of trying to prolong your life and your comfort, which is my own problem. I do this to myself, so I'm speaking from experience here. You know, your attachments are what's going to make this hurt. On some level, you're going to have to realize, like I was saying to Fleshy the other day, I'm just a visitor here. This isn't my real world. None of this is your real world. We're all just visitors here. You know, I was quoting that song. Oh fuck, what's the name of the band, Fleshy? I just gave it to you the other night.
Was it Bad Religion?
Yeah, Bad Religion.
It was. Hold on one second. I'm scrolling up. Bad Religion, Slumber.
Yeah, slumber. You know, slumber will come soon, dude. You're not going to be here forever. Your life can be significant and important in this world, sure, but you're not going to be here to see it all. When I say that, I don't mean that your consciousness won't be here. I mean this little egoistic egregore that you say is me. Even if you immortalize yourself, you're not going to want to be locked to that forever. You're going to want to expand your consciousness into the totality of what is. You're going to want to realize yourself, not just be locked to this guy or girl. So you need to learn. You got to do your shadow work. You've got to realize what your triggers are, why they're there. Are they fair or are they unfair? You know, righteous rage is fair. You know, when someone comes to you and says, I'm going to rape you and kill you, and blah, you have every right to be like, and with full vindictiveness, right? But if someone just says, well, I disagree with you, and you go, must destroy, now you need to examine why you're triggered about it. Like I had to the other day. Me and CM had a, I'm not saying he was right about anything. I still completely think he was wrong, but I did realize that I was triggered by the content that was being shared. And I'm like, no, this person sucks. I still stand by that. I hate their fucking guts. I hope they die in a fire. But I'm willing to see that, you know what, that emotionally triggered me.
You were talking about who CM was referencing, not the guy himself. Just
yeah, no, CM's fine. CM's totally fine. Definitely not CM. He's fine. I mean, if he dies in a fire, I will feel a little bad. I mean, you know, come on. No, I'm just kidding. I'll feel really bad. Don't eviscerate me in your videos. No, to be brutally honest, it was about the individual that was brought up. And so I had to do shadow work. And it was like, I think he said, like, trigger me timbers. And I got real mad at that for a second. Like, fuck you, I have every right. And I'm like, oops. I just realized what I'm doing. And then I turned it into a joke and I twisted it around. I made fun of myself. It's like when someone catches you on your shit, even if you can't admit it to them, you should still say thank you internally and be like, nope, I got triggered there. Because someone else responded much better with better responses than I did, and much more well thought out and reasoned out answers, because I was just like, fuck this guy, hate this guy, fuck this guy, I want to kill this guy, let's get blah, 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 blah. I mean that, you know, not literally, I'm not going to kill him, but I want to kill this person in the ratings type of thing. Hate this person, look at what they said, look at what they did. And whether it's fair or not, I had a knee-jerk shadow reaction to it. So that kind of shadow work is really important, and you can't run away from it. You're never going to get them all, right? The shadows, they just keep happening. You're never going to catch them all.
If you ever think you're done with shadow work,
that's when you really got to.
You're not. You got to work on that shadow next.
Yeah, and I was there for a little while. I think I've integrated most of my shadows. Nope. Then 2020 happened.
Let's just open this door. Oh, hi, angry mob.
Just. Well, let's just let one in at a time.
Yeah. Form a queue, one at a time, please. Hopefully they're good British shadows. Understand how queues work.
Yeah, no, they're not. So you got to do that shadow work, because what's coming, you're not going to be able to stop. And if you go through life thinking I got to protect myself from all hardship, you're going to experience endless hardship that you can't stop. So you've got to learn to borrow a military phrase, you got to embrace the suck. Okay? You got to learn to embrace the suck. That's one thing working at a nursery for 7 years with family bosses that would treat you like garbage because your family, you know what I mean? Like things that they could do to you that they can't do to a regular employee. They took good care of me too. I'm mostly shit talking. But really hard job, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week during the busy season, you know, up to your asshole in mud, and that's on a good day. Some days it's up to your armpits in mud, dealing with heavy shit, really hard stuff. It really teaches you how to embrace the suck, because you got to do it anyway, you know, and that's an important thing. So you want metaphysical answers, you know. What's more metaphysical than doing shadow work and preparing that way? Yes, you can do all the protection magic you want to do. That's an easy answer. If I said, well, you're going to go make a sigil and ward your space, and at the edge of your property, not only you're going to have your firing lane so you know where you're going to be shooting the mortars, but you're going to put sigils on all the trees so that when the marauding bandits cross over it, they get cursed so that mortar really hits them. You could do all that, and to be honest, to me, that just sounds like bullshit. I'm not saying it won't work. I'm just saying, to me, that just sounds like, you know, that's like a video game at that point. Like, oh, let's cast a magic missile as a trap over there. Like, no. You need to be detaching your ego so that when this shit does come to pass, look, you know, it's probably not going to be that bad, right? So that's the first thing. You can survive anything, you know. So get yourself into the mentality like, I don't need any of this stuff to survive. I don't need my computer. I don't need my house. I don't even need my family. And I will exist so long as it is in my nature to exist. Think about all the worst things that could happen as a meditation. In my last newsletter, I put a version of a death meditation. I forget the Japanese word for it, but it's like a Zen thing that people do. You meditate on your death. You meditate on your body decomposing. You meditate on what that moment of death would look like. You know, is it going to be a car accident? What would that be like? And make it as visceral as you can. And some people say, well, don't idealize your death. You're going to cause it. No. That's a little superstitious in my book. You can visualize something without causing it, especially if you just play it smart.
I think if that were the case, then I would be a millionaire by now, of just like, if the amount of times I visualize, what would I do with that amount of money?
Yeah, you've got to put it in the framework. If it's going to be that way, you got to put it in the framework of look, you can't just say you believe it. You've got to actually believe it. If you don't believe it's going to happen, then that's powerless. You've got to believe, and believing is more than just repeating "I believe" over and over. So it's on another level, and that I can't teach you to do. No one can, because I can't do it at will. I mean, it's like I have to believe it or I don't. But no, you should meditate on the worst. Meditate on the worst, not so that you become fearful, but so that you become acclimated to the worst that could happen. So I know a lot of the stuff I'm saying is like self-help. Where's the magic? That is the magic. Work with spirits that will help you with that. Do rituals that will help you with that. There's too many to count. Walk the cliff off. Do shadow work. Work with Shadownomicon. Ask Lucifer. That motherfucker will liberate you from a lot of shit. Okay? Call on Lucifer to liberate you from your fears. You may become homeless as a result, but you will be liberated from your fears. I guarantee it. All right. I think we're going to done with that.
Yeah, that's a good spot to cut off on, especially since I am backed up on Super Chats, and we also have some other questions. I sent you a message in Discord, by the way, that may go into the stream, so let me know on that. We have a comment from Jen Vatsa with that glorious 666. Appreciate you. Says,
just to cut you off that thing, no, because technical difficulties are still a thing until the foreseeable future.
I'll pass it along.
Otherwise, I'd appreciate it because he is cool to have on. But no, we're not going to be doing phone calls till I can figure out a better way, and that's going to be time. I mean, audio calls would be fine, but I'm more. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you like looking them in the eye.
Yeah, for now. Yep.
So Jen says, DH, you know that hell is supposed to be a safe space. #triggered.
I love you, Jen. Jen's another one. Like, here's the thing. People who are like, Thorne's an alt-right Nazi. I'm like, if you saw who I'm surrounded by, you'd eat those words. I don't think I know one. I'm surrounded by people who completely disagree with a lot of the things I say, and we're all buddy-buddy. Jen is an awesome person. Jen has been in our community for, going on 2 years or at least a year now. She's been on the show a few times. She makes awesome products. I'm
fucking wearing her perfume right now.
Yeah, Belladonna's Botanicals. Check her out. Follow her channel. She puts up good stuff. She's a very nice, kind, sincere practitioner. Okay? And we've been through a lot of shit the last year because there's been a lot of attempts to deplatform all of us who've ever associated with Balg at all, whether we're in Balg or not. If you've associated with them, there's a concerted effort from a couple of people in the community to get us taken down. They're mostly ineffective and boring. I don't know if they managed to score a hit on EA lately or not, but they're really trying to take down Balg for very, very vain and shitty reasons. In my opinion, I may be wrong, but it's not my problem either. I just know who my friends are. They're not my friends, these other people. So the joke is in reference to that. There are some people who get really triggered when you tell them the truth. And when you make hell look like anything other than a beautiful, wonderful place. So here's the thing that happens a lot. And I got to be careful with this too. People will talk about demons as if they're some kind of endlessly positive being. That is no more accurate than thinking demons are always bad. Like, that's the demons that we're talking about are almost always going to be gods and folk spirits from ancient antiquity that were demonized. And those ancient spirits always had dark sides to them. There is no such thing, at least outside of Zoroastrianism perhaps, and Christianity perhaps, and even Christianity has a dark side. There's no such thing as a deity that doesn't fuck you over for reasons. And a lot of times those reasons are petty and shitty. In fact, it is more common in pagan and heathen, polytheism or whatever, to see a god as a dangerous thing, not a divine, wonderful, sweet thing. Zeus, you could petition Zeus and get a lot of good stuff, but he might fuck you up anyway. Because they're petty, right? They have pettiness to them. They have they're not, they don't always have a lot of fidelity, or they expect fidelity in you, but then won't show it to you. Look at the Norse pantheon. We often are meant to think of the Norse as, like Odin and Thor as always good guys. That is so not the case.
I just heard Cameron perk up.
It's so not the case that really you're meant to take the whole thing in stride. You're supposed to realize, hey, yeah, Fenrir's a bad guy now, but Fenrir was done dirty and wrong. That's why he's a bad guy, right? If he's a bad guy, it's because he was tricked. He just wanted to impress the gods and be one of them and be loved by them, respected by them. Yeah, he was a big scary monster, yes. But he would have been loyal and useful and probably a really good guard dog for the gods. Instead, they got scared of him because they were like, oh, he might be able to kill one of us. And instead of treating him with respect, They tricked him and enslaved and entrapped him. So of course he's gonna fucking wreck shit when he gets loose. Of course.
Okay, you know what though? The victors wrote the histories. I
True.
think that really what I think what it was is that Fenrir really just wanted whatever they were eating, but it was chocolate. They're like, no, 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 we gotta cage you. We gotta cage you, buddies, for your own good.
That too.
And it drove
or
him
you could
mad.
go with the complete skeptic route and say that Fenrir is probably an example of a rival tribe, the wolf tribe, that the ancient heathen cultures assimilated, and they had to make a treaty with them, and they would restrain themselves from attacking everybody, but our tribe had to give up, like, something, right? Maybe. I'm just saying that's in there too. That's always a possibility too. But that's just a funny thought. Realize that the gods are never pure or anything in terms of goodness and niceness. Lucifer is just as inclined to help you out, to liberate you, but really the way he liberates is to throw you under the bus and show you, like, shed a light on your weaknesses and fears and be like, you see this? This is you. Now, usually, like, what he does to me? He almost always talks syrupy sweet to me. Oh, Thorne, my beloved, you're one of the most beautiful. You're my chosen. This just totally butters me up. And I'm like, are you like, you trying to blow smoke up my ass, dude? Like, what is this? No, you're my most beloved. You're beautiful. You're magnificent. You should give yourself more. I'm like, And just that questioning, is that the intended purpose? Is that because, as much as I seem to be egoistic to a lot of outside people who don't know me well, because I have to play one on TV to even do this, like, I have to overcompensate for my actual, not insecurity, but self, what is that? Not self-absorbed.
Self-analysis? Analysis?
No. Like, I usually keep to myself. myself.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I'm usually more quiet when we just hang out.
Yeah, introverted nature.
Yeah. So I actually have to exaggerate, and because I'm a little ADHD, I can't wait to say what I want to say. So I just, like, Alex Jones it, like, turn the frogs gay, I'm gonna eat your ass. And
speaking of which, I want to let you finish, but whenever you're at a good point, I've got 2 super chats that I want to get to.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm making a big thing out of her beautiful super chat, but there's a lot there. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there.
Okay. The other 2 super chats are from Amobius1, says shadow work is the way. And then just before I get to the next one, Behemoth X says, if Jen's nice, what the fuck am I? Hello, friends. You're glorious, you bastard.
Behemoth. I don't know, man. I mean, I would say you're sinister as fuck, but behind all the sinister beats the heart of a true noble soul. A true noble savage beats that heart. I would say that like, how do I put this? If I was looking for someone to tell me sincerely I'm trying to find the right words to encapsulate this. I'm not really fully centered in myself. I'm trying to sincerely tell me wholesome advice. Now, don't take this wrong. Like, I'm not saying he's a wholesome sweetheart. I'm saying wholesome advice in life. Protect your kingdom. Be sincere. Be honest with yourself. He's another one who's ridiculously sincere. He'll tell you the story about, I don't even want to bring it up because it's painful even for me to think about this story that he tells about his former, partner and all of that stuff. And this guy lays it all out and just unashamed. Like, look, I'm a scout in life. I'm a visitor here. I'm an example. He completely, to use a Christian term, he bears witness. Sincere and true witness in his life. All right? Fuck Christians, but that's a good term. They're not wrong. He bears true witness. And that is That's why I would potentially go to him if I was having a down moment. You know, and he's not going to, hopefully not butter you up. Maybe he would, but he's going to be real with you. So no, I'm sorry. You're not going to be, I'm not going to say that you're a bad guy, Behemoth. You're like me. You're like a teddy bear with a switchblade sewn in the paw. You look like a bad guy, but you probably make a mean mac and cheese and cuddle babies really nice and puppies too.
I could see that.
Right? So I'm sorry if I blew your image there, bro.
I feel a little bit like whenever he's on, you just like you were just saying how Lucifer is to you, you are in that same way, you are Lucifer to him, just buttering him up.
I do. I really do. But I think he deserves it. The guy has never... He's one of those people where when people ask me, like, who's the good guys in the community, he's on my short list. Because he's one of those people that I've interacted with. I've never had any cause to wonder, doubt, criticize. I know that's like a buttering up, but it's not. I think more people need to say this stuff of each other. You know, I talk about a lot of negative things. So when I encounter someone that I don't feel negative about, right, I feel like it's an exception and I got to make a big deal out of it. Like Jen, I don't have negative thoughts about. Do we agree on anything? No. But Jen has never done me wrong. Jen has never, ever led me wrong. I mean, she might have been wrong about this. She's never deceived me. She has only ever looked out for me, my community. And so I give her the same treatment. You know, she's always welcome in our community and she will always be safe there. We're never going to let, you know, the weirdos get through there and all that shit. She's always welcome there. So just foot down. All right. Next one. Okay.
And thank you for being patient, Asarte. Your super chat was also thank you. Hey DH, EA's advice yesterday got me going. I'm going to write an occult book. What advice do you have on how to write this type of book?
Ooh, boy. Trade secrets time.
Back up your hard drives.
Oh, that hit. That fucking oof. Oof.
Ooh, did anybody smell smoke?
Oof size, large. Oof. All right. What he said. Back it up, use cloud. Okay, use cloud storage. Period. Let's see what kind of advice to give that's not going to eat into my own career path here. What would I want to see if I was reading an occult book?
You know what? And as somebody who maybe something you want to think about this too, what software workflow too like helps get these thoughts out there? Because I know I tousled with the idea of writing my own book, and there was a fucking list of things to consider that I didn't have any idea how to use. So on the practical side too, what has worked for you?
So I'm my own artist, so I don't need to ask anybody for commissions for art. So that's a big plus. Not required though. But honestly, a crappy cover, like I see some people, they probably got a good book, but the cover is like, you know, some kind of weird stock photo shit. And it's like, yeah, that sucks. Just makes me not want to read it. I don't know why. We can't judge a book by its cover, but we do anyway. So try to get a good cover and some good illustration and stuff going on. You have a good eye for your layout and design if you don't have somebody doing it for you. You know, I like to think that what I lack in editing and grammar and shit, I make up for with good layouts for someone who does it all himself. So that's a big plus, but that's not by any means a necessity. I use Microsoft Word for everything. That's Microsoft Word in an art program, like not Photoshop necessarily, but like Photoshop. You know, probably get away with GIMP or whatever.
Or Photopea online. It's better than Photoshop and it's free.
Photopea, huh? I'm gonna have to look that up. I mean, I use Clip Studio Paint, which works really good. You know, it's more for comics, but it works really good for the kind of art that I do, more or less. So, yeah, so that's important. I use Word for that. But when you're coming to actually writing, there's different methods of writing. So, if you're writing an occult book, you have to ask yourself, what am I contributing to the field of occult study? Is this going to be like, I can give you two examples right here. Okay. Now I liked these books, but they're pretty much useless to me. This one and this one. Now I got these because I really wanted to see what other traditions consider spells and why they do them the way they do. So these are all low magic spells. Do we need another books like these? Do we need another get 3, 3 drops of this oil and tongue of dick and all this shit? Do we need that? No, we don't. We don't need that book. Don't write that book. Nobody needs that book. What we need are books that will give people experiences. That's what we need. We need books that will guide someone. So, like, one of the problems with my future book is I think it's really cerebral, and I have a feeling a lot of people are just not going to get it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to think higher of my audience, but I have a feeling a lot of people aren't going to get it. But the reason my other books were successful, like Shadownomicon, was because I didn't just tell you a story, and I didn't just give you a book of rituals to do. It's a book that guides you through a thought process. It's kind of hidden in it. Like, I don't tell you that's what I'm doing, but I'm walking you through an initiation while you're reading that book, so that when you're done reading that book, you can now go have experience with these entities if you so desire, or you've already had a little bit of a taste because of the book, so you know you don't need to. Right? So if you're going to write an occult book, what you need to be doing is facilitating spiritual experiences. Another magical cookbook is not needed. Nor should it be, if you're going to make it egoistic and talk all about your experiences, which is fine, then you should see it as sort of like autobiographical. It should be more anecdotal. It should be like a, my path working with this spirit type of thing. That's fine too. I actually was writing a book like that. It got deleted, so it's kind of good because I was going to redo it anyway. That's a good kind of book too. But I wouldn't, I would definitely avoid another cookbook. Avoid another fucking cookbook. We don't need it. If you're going to include rituals in them, don't make it like a cookbook. That's all I'm going to say. Make them path working oriented. Make them path working. And also, I would highly recommend, it depends on your belief, steer people away from the superstitious mumbo jumbo side towards the rational side of spirituality. I say that because it's only doing us more harm. Even if there is a supernatural side to things, we're only doing ourselves harm when we give novices this idea that magic is meant to be a vending machine that grants wishes. When people think that if I do this ritual, I will have abundance in my life, that's part of the problem. People need to realize that magic is an art form which untangles the energies that are stuck in you, that are preventing you from having the experiences that you really are meant to have. It's not a way to have an acausal force that forces the world to give you what you want. That's either a blind that was put in there even by people like Crowley. Like, if you think Crowley told you nothing but the truth, you're dumb. You're dumb. If you can't see the blinds that are hidden even in his work, you're stupid. Period. You're too trusting. I mean that rudely. You're dumb. If you trust even me, you're dumb. You need to go and take these works and figure out what they mean to you and figure out how to look between the words, because I'll tell you something. A lot of what I do is based on Zen and very similar philosophies, which means I will say something that in English means X, but if you think about it, actually means Y. I'm not double speaking you. I'm not lying to you. Like, if I tell you that because of doing this work, you become God, you're going to be like, whoa, that means that I can do anything I want. I can bend time and space. I'm like, yeah, sure. That's exactly right. You can do that. What I'm not telling you is that you're already God and you're already doing that. So this magic is not going to give you suddenly the ability to levitate objects around the house and do whatever you want. It's just going to open your eyes and make you realize, oh shit, I already do everything. Everything's exactly the way it's meant to be already, the way it is. So it's really up to me to see it the way it's supposed to be seen. But I don't tell you that because that's a lot harder for people to just swallow. People want to hear, oh, I can become God if I do a ritual 35 times a week and bend over and face the sun and all this dumb shit. They want to hear, because they don't want to do the actual work. You know, I have people coming to me asking me, can you do a ritual that will open all these chakras and do all this stuff and bring back the dead? But I'm not saying that I can't do a ritual that will help with you opening your chakras. What I'm saying is you got to do the damn work of opening your chakras. Nobody can open your chakras from here. I don't care if a Reiki master is like, I can open your chakras from across the planet. I've yet to see that. It's one of those things, again, where it's like, well, I can astrally project in your house and tell you what color underwear you have on. I have yet to see someone able to do that. What I do see, when someone says they can open your chakras, say with Reiki or something, they do set the potential in motion for you to open your own chakras better. That's what's really happening. Because if you understand...
They're a facilitator.
Facilitator, yes. Big. Did I use that word tonight? Because that's a big word on my mind.
I don't know if you did. You might have.
I might have, because that's been going into a lot of emails and shit that's going on. I'm not doing the magic for you. I'm facilitating the experience for you. Trust me, it's a different thing. So if you go back and watch my video, The Open Secret of Magic, you understand why I believe this. Okay? And when I say belief, I don't mean like I believe it like a faith. I mean, it's been my experience and nothing but. Every time I've tried to do it any other way, I might have a little bit of success, but then it quickly craters and I go, why the fuck is this not working? It worked before. And then I realize, because it's not about the rituals, it's not about the chakras, it's not about any of that. Magic is an art form. It's a language that's meant to facilitate an experience so that you have an awakening to your true divinity. Once you have that awakening, you actually might put magic away forever. You might just walk around the world and go, this is going to happen next. And it does. Didn't need a ritual for that. Because you didn't even make it happen. You realize that it's already happening. You're going to where it's happening. That's the only way I can put it. Like you're changing the tracks on your record. You're going to a different song. It's like that. You're going to where the song is that you want to hear. Mm. So that's what we need more of. We don't need, and you're going to sell a fuck ton of copies. If you, and I mean this, if you write a book, My 9 Months with Lucifer, and here's how we had sex on a comforter, and blah, blah, because there's people they want the fanfic. They don't want the reality. Most of the people, unfortunately, who even tune into me and love my work, they say they love my work, but really they want the fantasy too.
I mean, it's fun to hear.
Of course it is.
It's the spoonful of sugar that we hope can help the medicine get down.
Yeah, that's true. And we do. Oh, we got another bot in here. It looks like everybody got him though.
Yep.
Thank you, Camilla.
On it.
Gee, I wonder who sent that at us. Probably the usual suspect.
And you know, I want to jump in on this a little bit with my Flesh.
Yeah, what do you want to see in the book, Fleshy? What do you want to see?
Very established, 0 books written author. So. One thing that I've heard is people complaining about why the fuck are there so many Magic 101 books? Why does everybody write a 101 book? And yeah, admittedly, once you're in it, it's kind of like, I don't want to read a fucking another 101 book. Give me the cool shit. Give me the fucking gravy train. Give me the niche and interesting. But I also do think that a 101 book is a good way to start. For one, if you've never written before, it's a good way to get your feet wet. But also, everybody's bringing a very specific je ne sais quoi to the table, where to expand upon that, you say that Become the Maelstrom is your player's handbook and everything else is an expansion off of that. Everything could work in isolation, but understanding the baseline context of that 101 book is going to help facilitate deeper learning off of everything else. So also don't be afraid to write a 101 book.
No.
In my opinion. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, I think you're beyond right. I think that, you know, when I read somebody's book and it says visualize, blah, 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 blah. And I know from experience, because I have a little bit of trouble visualizing, that there's people who can't even do that. So what do you mean by visualize that, right? If I can't visualize and see the energy with my mind's eye, people are like, oh, that means your third eye's closed. Motherfucker, you don't know what a third eye is if you think that's what it means. If someone can't visualize, how do they do the magic if you don't explain what you mean by visualize? Right? If you mean that they literally have to see it with their mental imagery, then if they can't do that, your kind of magic ain't going to work for them. People need to understand what your metrics are. What you know, it's kind of like when you have a debate, the first thing you got to do is define your terms. If we're debating about something, we have to define what the terms are first so that we can agree on what we're arguing about before we can actually argue about it. So if I don't tell you what I mean by astral projecting, If I don't tell you what I mean by a demon or a spirit or a god, if I'm alluding to it later in the book, you'd be like, what is this motherfucker talking about? I don't understand. I thought he said he believed in demons and gods, but he's not a theist. What does that mean? How can you not be a theist but still believe in them? I got to explain that. Otherwise, you're going to be hung up when I get you there. So, no, I think that every book of magic should either have a complete, so you either need a complete 101 as your first book, or every book you make should have, at the very least, one chapter that is giving people the overview of your magical frame of reference. So, like, one of the things I'll say, like, S. Connolly, right? In her book, The Complete Book of Demonology, she kind of glazes over this. But not in a bad way, because the rest of the book is a 101 book, so it's fine. But she kind of glazes over a Gnostic belief system, like a belief in a source and a union and a non-dual fundamental esoteric. So she glazes over that. And most occultists aren't not very well versed in non-duality. Whereas for me, that's my bread and butter. That's, to me, where all the magic comes from, is understanding that I am the divine, I am God, I am chaos, I am Brahman, I am Atman. Understanding that is how I know magic can work. So it really helps if you understand that for yourself, if you have at least the taste of that. That's why in my book, the very first chapter is non-duality in Become the Maelstrom. It's not a concise lecture on what it is. It's actually an artistic conversation. It's full of artful concepts strung together in beautiful phraseology that I'm hoping when you're done reading it gives you the vibe of, am I the universe? Like, am I the storm? Am I, because it's called Become the Maelstrom. Am I the Maelstrom? Is that what I am? What does he mean? Like, oh, I think I get it. Maybe he's saying I'm already God. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And I don't know if I actually say that to you, but I imply it in all the things that I'm saying to you. Right? So I'm kind of using like skillful method to try to teach you that. That we need more of, right? We need more of that. So yes, every book I think should have either a 101 in it or a nod to a 101 book that you offered first. So Shadownomicon and Vampire, they both say, hey, go check out my first book, Become the Maelstrom, if you want to understand some things that I don't have time to explain completely here for you now, but I can give you the brief, yeah. And not for nothing, I can tell you, I've looked at dozens, hundreds of books. None of them have told you what it means to meditate, visualize, how to listen for spirits and all. I give you the very, I'm counting the sand grains specificity, because I can't, that's the kind of questions I get endlessly. How do I know if a spirit is there? And it's like, oh, it's actually not that hard. Are they here or am I ignoring them? You're ignoring them 9 times out of 10. So I try to explain to you and Become the Maelstrom all those little nitty gritty things. That's why even if I ever say that Become the Maelstrom is no longer my primary system of magic, which it's not anymore, that's actually gone away. I don't use that system specifically anymore. Elements of it, of course. It's still a valid book because it will get you there. If you read that book, especially the first 2 parts, book 1 and book 2, because it's a 3-part book. If you read those first 2 parts, you know now more than most people will ever know starting out. It's a complete, white to black belt course in the basics. What you do with it from there is up to you. And I only give you a little hand holding after that. The spell portion of that book, it's pretty meaty, but there's only 5 spells in the whole thing. It's not meant to be a cookbook. It's meant to be here's how you cook, right? That's what it is. So, yeah.
So, I think that's a good place to wrap that question. There is a super chat I wanted to get to and a couple other questions. So Nina the Mystic hit us with that 666, and you did not even have to pay for a super chat to plug this, but we appreciate you nonetheless.
Oh, Nina, what the fuck?
She says, greetings everyone. I hope you all join us in this live chat this Sunday. We have Nate Bales as a special guest and gave us a YouTube link. If Nina definitely deserves it. If you would be so kind, I am going to copy paste that link into chat if we could pin that.
Yeah, I will pin it as soon as I see it. If you can't pin it, I will pin it. I don't know if you can pin stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot pin it. That is one of the few things I cannot do as a moderator.
But didn't I give you like full penis
You
enlargement
did, but
powers?
I'd have to flip flop over right now.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
don't worry about it. We're good.
Something to think of for next time, though.
Yeah, I don't even know if we can both do it at the same time. It might give me an attitude. But anyway, no, thank you, Nina. And Nina has been a wonderful supporter of this channel since its inception, pretty much, at least since I started becoming public with all this. She's a selfless, when I say that, I don't mean that in the, like, usually I mean that derogatorily because most people are false in their selflessness. She's not selfless in a false way. She genuinely believes in energy for energy. And she's been nothing but generous. And so whenever she requests, I do my best to give. She can always come, and I appreciate this. Now, Nate Bales, I don't know personally, but I do know Scarlett Bale. She's been a friend of mine off and on Facebook for a while. When I say off and on, I mean like we don't always talk, but when we do talk, it's always pleasant. And Scarlett's been a wonderful woman, and she's been very supportive of me and people that's in our group. So by extension, I want to give that support to Nate as well. I don't know Nate at all. I've never spoken to him. I do hear he's an interesting character, though. So, Nina, good catch on that, and I hope you get a lot of cool people watching that show. I really do.
Okay, cool. Thank you for pinning that. So the next question I have lined up is from Saturn555. Do you guys think the Angel of Death, Azrael, is the same energy as Baron Samedi, god of death, just in a different religion? Because I know a lot of the Greek gods are a lot of the Egyptian gods with different names.
So we're going back to this conversation we've had before. You know where I'm probably going to go with this. I remember I'll start the story with the story about Lucifer that I tell when this comes up. Someone had asked me if Lucifer was XYZ spirit in a different pantheon, blah, 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 blah. And I started thinking about it, and immediately Lucifer pops into my head, and I get like a psychic slap out of it, which is literally like I just feel stunned and just like, whoa, like what the fuck? Like my heart's pounding like a panic attack, but it's not a panic attack. I felt all kinds of fucked up. And in my mind's eye, my own voice that sounds like Lucifer, if that makes sense, says, stop trying to make us all the same. We appear to you as different characters, different entities, different masks, because you need us to look that way so you can understand us in your own languages. Now, what that meant was, it's not that they're not all the same. It's not that they're not all the same consciousness. Ultimately, all of these gods, all of these demons, all of these beings are the one, in my opinion, of course, you may disagree, but as a non-dualist, I don't believe this because someone told me. It's because I've had my own versions of ego death, my own experiences of it, where I found out what I was when my ego shut up. I realized that I am pure consciousness. That's what we all are, because consciousness doesn't have a boundary. Everything is conscious. Anyway, my point is, everything's the same conscious. Everything's the same chaos, the same God divinity. When we say God, I don't mean Yahweh God. Yahweh is even a pretender comparatively to what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about owns all of these, and that's what you are. You are that. You're not, you've forgotten, that's your problem. So this divinity is in all things, including all the demons, all the angels, and everything else. Lucifer is you in another form. Stolas, which is very popular right now. If I wanted to be a grifter right now, I'd be putting out Stolas products left and right now. Everybody wants to know about Stolas right now. Stolas is you in another form. So what is death?
I don't know where that came from, other than, I don't know, maybe Hell of a Boss just posted a new fucking episode.
Yeah, that could be it. And I'm not gonna lie, I do feel a slight calling towards it, but I'm more into the crow line, and crows and owls traditionally don't get along. I still love owls, I think they're cool, don't get me wrong, but I'm not saying I'm having a problem with Stolas. I'm just saying that I don't know, I just haven't been really intrigued. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So what is death? Death appears to different cultures in different ways. Death will appear as, well, you have in the Greek tradition, you have what, 3 or 4 different kinds of death. I mean, you have Thanatos, which is peaceful death. You have the Arianuses or whatever they're called. So you have like, you know, violent death, betrayal, like there's all these different ways death can happen, murderers, you know, that kind of stuff. That's all different kinds of death. And there's different masks that death wears. Now, every culture personifies this for whatever reason. Sometimes they have a very good reason. Sometimes there's a very valid reason why they personify things. Sometimes it's so that they can, you know, here's the thing, to backtrack a little bit. When I talk about the shadow people, I'm one of the first people that has ever said that shadow people are an externalization of our individual and collective Jungian shadow. It's all the things that we're ashamed of, that we hide from ourselves, that we give so much energy to, that they literally manifest as externalized, not literally external, but externalized, reified beings that you can encounter. So we personify things so that we can, sort of like when you take the engine out of a car so you can work on it if it's really fucked up, right? If you've ever known people who work on classic cars, sometimes they got to pull the whole engine out to take it apart and break it down and put it back together again. Sort of like that, okay? It's like putting a car up on blocks or something. We externalize these aspects of our ultimate being so that we can confront and engage and gain from them that way. So Lucifer could be argued as an example as an idealized future independent, like one step away from total complete divinity, right? So here's a being that knows they are God, but for whatever reason has fallen from that completeness. Now, the Bible says he was cast out. I see it as he's like, no, I know I'm God, but there's still a separation there, like an egoistic separation. He's like one step away from being perfect divinity. Okay, he's like the idealized perfect avatar, right? So that's you. That's really like your highest potential. That's just a mask for it. I like Lucifer, right? So in a way, I'm saying I see myself as Lucifer in a future sense. So death incarnate as these different characters. I don't know if I would say Azrael is really death or not. I don't know which occultist is saying that. See, this is all part of the superstitious, you know, story time stuff. Some of it's real, some of it's not. It's you know, these entities, these egregores evolve and live in our culture and in our consciousness. And so they'll change over time. They'll become different things. You know, you'll have, you know, like people have said, you know, Jesus is really an amalgamation of all these different traditions and spirits brought together, and now you got a Jesus character. Yeah, probably. I think it's even worse than that, but yeah, probably. You have gods like Zeus, right? Zeus is traceable back to Deus Pater, which is Sky Father from the Proto-Indo-European culture. That god served as the foundational inspiration for so many gods across Mesopotamia, Europe, Asia, you know, East Asia, even Far Asia has versions of this. And a lot of them have the same sounding name, okay? Or it means the same thing in their, you know, so Zeus is Zeus Pater, Sky Father. Jupiter, Deus Pater, right? That's, again, the Sky Father. You have, you know, in ancient Mesopotamia, you've got Enlil, you've got Marduk, you've got Baal Hadad. You know, all of these gods are based on that original, you know, stamp, if you will. And they're all kind of the same mask for a fertility god, a god of fertility and all of those kinds of things. So, if you're asking me, are they the same? Is it the same god? Is it all the same death? Is it? My suggestion to you is, if you really want to get to know these things, stop asking me, go do the rituals and find out. Because I could tell you over and over and over again that they are you in a higher form or an extrapolated way. And when I say you, I don't mean you personally. You personally is another egregore. I'm talking about the real you, the true you, the ultimate you, chaos, Brahman, Atman, the ultimate source self. They're all that, and that's what you are. Tatvamasi, that's what you all are. So the more you think of them as external, separate entities, and even external and separate from each other, the more you're just deluding yourself through egoistic ideation. Nothing wrong with having an ego. What I'm saying is ego gets toxic when you let it get too far ahead of itself. So anyway, I'm saying a lot here, but what I really think you should do is go do the work.
I think people need to do a lot more of that, at least from what I've seen, some of the questions in like Discord servers and whatnot. Not anyone in particular, just being in a whole bunch, you know. People want a lot of validation, and there is place for that, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you have the address for who to write to. Go ask them.
Yeah.
Go ask them yourself. Just quit sending messages back and forth through a messenger. You
And I'm not
got
saying
this
that
guy
to
on
just
speed
like,
dial.
because some people get annoyed when someone like me says, go ask him yourself, like I'm dodging the question or something. It's literally
That's really the truest and best way.
Yeah, it's not that you shouldn't have any information. It's just that if I told you that they're the same, then does that really tell you anything? If I said that Baron Samadi and Azrael are masks are they masks of each other or whatever, does that tell you anything? Does that just, all I'm doing is fluffing up your own belief. I'm not really giving you anything useful. You know, I'm giving you the fish instead of teaching you to fish.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I wanted to pop into, we got another super chat from AJ. Thank you very much, dude.
Aww.
Says, thanks for your insightful answer to my questions.
Oh, you're welcome, AJ. I hope I gave you a good answer. I really do. I feel like I'm not focused tonight. You know what it is? I had tea, and I'm finding out that tea doesn't make me focus. Caffeine fucks me up. I need to be like sleepy. I'm going to be sleepy for that.
Yeah, we need to hit you with like a little bit of ketamine or something. Get a little bit of ketamine and Earl Grey in your system. See what happens.
What about this shit? I think it's got carbs, so I haven't tried it. But it's supposed to make you feel like really, really like mellow. Like it's almost like CBD.
Is that yerba mate? Kava. Oh shit, that's the shit you guys were telling me about the other night.
I mean, it makes you feel real mellow, according to my wife.
I don't know. Pound a handful. Let's see.
I don't know. It's got carbs in it, I think, though.
Dude, I'm talking about eating a Reaper on a live stream. You could pound a handful of that shit. I'm gonna eat a Carolina Reaper for a stream.
Yeah, but this has carbs. I'll eat the Reaper before I'll eat the carbs.
Any more like 20-something white Californian.
Right? That was like peak 2021 Thorne, California style. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my god. Fuck you. Oh my god. Thank you for that. That just buttered me right up.
Oh, my buddy Eric's here. He says, I'm subscribed to your channel. I think he means Nina, but I had to search for a minute to find live chat. Thanks, Nina. What's up, brother? I was actually so glad to see you in a good mood the other day when I jumped on your live stream for a second there. I miss you, dude. I definitely agree we should have a conversation one of these days off the record and just talk about shit, because we haven't done that in like 3 months. And I know you've been busy, and you've got such great news. I'm so happy for you and Zarafina, my friend. So, you know, anytime you want to talk, man, I'm always on Discord. You can always catch me there somewhere. You can always just message me, and you know my schedule. I'm pretty free most of the time, especially at night, unless I got rituals to do, but I'll tell you if I got that. So, you know I love you, brother. Please don't be a stranger. We all love you and support you. And if people have a problem with us liking EA, you can go sit on a fucking tack and spin a couple times, because who I like is none of your damn business. No, for real. Most people, everybody in our Discord anyway, I think appreciates Eric a lot. So
I think so.
Let's give him some love. He's another one, you know, Behemoth X, Jen. I mean, these are people that have never, ever, 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 number one, led me the wrong way. Like, they've never lied to me, really. If they've lied to me, it was like white lie stuff. Like, no, Thorne, I didn't get your birthday present. You know, they've never lied to me. They've never deceived me. And if they've deceived me, it's only been for my own good. Like, in those, like, I don't know how to put this. Like, there's a benevolent form of lying, right? I believe in that. Not that I do it that much, but I do believe that exists. I trust EA as a friend a lot. And the things that he's shown me about himself behind the scenes shows me that he's a genuine spiritual person who has seen a lot of hard shit that would have destroyed probably anybody, even me, that I know. I don't think I could have survived what he went through and been the person that he is. The good and the bad. I'm saying I would have been a right monster. Because I was almost a monster and I didn't go through half the shit. Like like the stuff that I've done and been willing to do, right, is worse. Probably. So I know he plays a big evil bastard, and he isn't one of the good guys either. But I've seen his heart well enough to know that I trust him, you know, and I believe what he says. I believe he's a spiritual person. He is powerful in magic. He's a sincere soul, and sometimes he's in a lot of fucking pain, and people don't give him enough credit for even getting in the ring with that pain in his fucking heart. Anybody who can have that kind of pain in their heart and get in the fucking ring and still fight and conquer gets my vote any fucking day.
Yeah,
any day.
That's why, like, I can separate and tolerate when people say they're not a fan of, you know, this goes for him or for anybody. Like, I know people who don't like your craft, the way that you do things. I'm like, hey, that's all well and good. You're entitled to that. That's your opinion.
Well, I don't like them.
And that's your opinion. You're entitled to it. It's like, if you want to separate what they do from the person and say you don't like the work they do, I can tolerate that. But I can't fucking stand when I hear people say that they don't like the person, because all of these people that we've been fucking buttering up tonight, I fucking love these people.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they'll always have a home in my place. I mean, unless they do someday betray me, which I don't, you know, anything's possible. You know, I'm like that chess player. Like, I play Monopoly, like even my wife is going to fuck me over. So I got to make sure I get my rent, you know?
And if that ever happens, we'll be stabbing each other, but I'll be crying the whole time I do it.
Yeah.
Also, you said earlier, I've been kind of fucking away from the internet for a little while, and I haven't been keeping up with shit. You said that there was some news. Should I be congratulating him on something?
You didn't know?
That's why I'm asking.
Oh, yeah. You want to tell him what the news is, or should I?
Somebody fucking fill me in chat, because I'm lost.
It's kind of a big deal.
Is it fucking... I'm not even going to say shit. I'm just going to wait for somebody to pop me in.
Ooh, I like that question. We'll get to that in a minute. Thank you, CM. That's a great question. We'll get to that in a minute.
It pops up a second earlier than for you than for me, because I noticed it pop up on the live stream there.
Oh, yeah, true.
It's interesting.
All right, since he's not responding, I don't know if he's going to respond. Maybe he's just busy. No, him and Zerafina have apparently there's some wedding bells in the future, apparently.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Like, it's not just awesome. A maybe someday. Apparently the move has been planned. Like, apparently it's I don't know what's in motion. I don't know what's been exchanged or anything, but apparently. So, I mean, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, bro, but apparently wedding bells are in the future. And that's freaking awesome, dude. You know, that's...
Yeah, awesome.
Eric says, flesh priest, comma. I think he's saying you'll be in a coma when you figure out what he's saying.
Yeah, I very honestly haven't hung out with Serafina all that much outside the live stream we did with her, but she seems nice. I have nothing but good things to say about her. And you two seem good together. I'm happy.
Yeah, she's gone through it a lot lately too. Like, it's been really rough, you know, things going on in personal life stuff, and I'm proud of them. Oh, he just admitted it. I asked Serafina to marry me, and she said yes. See? Oh man, I gotta fan my mascara. Oh my god. All
right. Black screen. Let's have a cry break.
I need a minute. No, that's really fucking beautiful, dude. And I hope that doesn't take long, because I know, you know, with the Kofifi the way it is and all the bullshit going on, you know, and she's still over there, I believe still in the UK. So, but once you guys make that happen, you know, if you guys travel through the New of York area where I am, message me well in advance so I can prepare to hang out with you guys for at least a day or two, maybe in Manhattan or something. Message my ass. I would like to show you fucking Kings Park Asylum. That's what I want to do.
And hey, if you want a really bad idea for your wedding day, both DH and I are ordained ministers.
That's true.
That would be a really bad idea.
That would be fucked up. I don't know if I could. No, honestly, my version of a wedding would be more like my version of a live stream. It would just me bullshitting for like an hour about unity and shit.
Same, man.
And then you'd just be like, you know what? He already said it all. Do you? Good. Do you? Good. Kiss it. You're married.
Now kiss.
Now kiss. Okay. Yeah. Oh my god.
Fuck yeah. Okay, so. Fuck.
Yeah, so he says there's a big difference between having a goal and getting what you want. I had a goal to be with her, but now I'm actually going to get it. You're gonna get it, motherfucker. You're going to get it. Yeah. Married by a flesh priest. Yes. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Oh, hey, it is in my name.
It is there.
Oh, don't want to imagine what a flesh wedding would look like, though.
I already told you we're changing your nickname to Flesh Pants instead of Flesh Priest.
Hey, that works for me because one of my favorite artists is Ankle Pants, and I'm sure my partner just cringed in terror at the mere utterance of the name Ankle Pants.
Wait, you have a partner again? What happened with that?
Yeah, I have for a while.
Oh, I knew you were like talking to somebody or whatever. I didn't know it was like officially elevated to partner status now. That's cool.
Yeah, you know.
No, I don't know. Jesus, these things.
You know, we put things in things. It's partner. Partner is a broad term.
Well, I mean, that's true, but I didn't know it was on that level.
We are partnered. We are partnered in the flesh.
I thought it was just like hanging out with options. I didn't know it was, you know. All right, well, that's cool, man. I'm proud of you, dude. More power to you. I'd like to send you a pink candle, but I'm afraid it might partner you too.
I got one, and it moves. So off of my business, CM Hildekainen with the super chat. Thank you very much, buddy.
My earplug just popped out on that. Hold on. Okay,
I'm sure you love that segue, dude. CM Hildekainen says, I'm curious to hear if you've noticed differences in shadows in urban as opposed to rural environments. Shine on, you crazy diamonds. Horns. And horns to you, dude.
Okay, so yes and no. Since the shadows are externalized self, externalized collective consciousness, there's always going to be difference. You know, the shadow that you, like if we both look in a corner and see a shadow, you're going to see a different shadow than I'm going to see, period. But I will say the environment does have an influence because it's a different kind of things that people have shadows about in different areas. So, not to turn this into any kind of political way, people living in cities have different shadows than people living in the countryside. Just period, okay? People living in cities are more likely to have woke shadows, if you will, shadows that have to deal with wokeness. People in the countryside have the inverse of that, right? So,
sleep shadows?
more sleep shadows. Nate Bales beat us to it. EA says he's going to be officiating.
That's probably for the best.
I'm death cursing Nate Bales. I'm kidding. I'm not going to death curse anybody. I'm kidding. I would never announce that. My God. No. So, but for real though, yes, I mean, if nothing else, it's going to just be because of the vibe of the area. People are going to be different about things. The type of things that people consider shadows are different in different areas. It just is. You know, if you go, trying to give this like as an open-minded and not like too stereotypical answer, but go to like a Bible thumping community. The shadows are going to be very much Bible thumping oriented. You're going to be seeing more shadows that have to do with shame for sexuality, more shadows that have to do with I don't know. It definitely is shame for sexuality. That's the big one that comes to my mind. You go to like an inner city, you might have more shadows that have to do with closet racism and shit like that. Because trust me, the people that are racist living in a racist area don't give a fuck about being racist. They don't actually have a shadow about that. It's the ones who hide their shadow that actually have a shadow about racism. So the Hat Man is actually going to be more common, I believe, in suburbia and in urban settings than they are. Not to say that people in the countryside are more racist, guys. Don't get me wrong. Again, this is why the stereotyping is so troubling to say. But if you go to an area where it's known that people are more inclined to have certain predilections about certain things, not necessarily in the countryside, but you go to different countries, they think different things about different people, period. You know, if you go to, believe it or not, you go to like some countries in Asia, man, those people are racist as all hell, you know? So they're not actually going to have a racist shadow being as prevalent. But you go to a place where everyone's like, I'm not racist. I would never be racist. Hat Man's going to be all over that motherfucker, because that's Hat Man talking right there. Hat Man's like, no, I'm not racist. You're racist. That's Hat Man. All right. So that's why if you look at the shadows, they often represent the inverse of the thing that people do, right? So you can tell someone's integrated a shadow when they're like the shadow. When I say like the shadow, like they're able to manipulate those things in their life. So for me, Ronzael is the shadow I've integrated most, because that's just kind of how I am. I have a Machiavellian, subtle air about me that people don't realize. Not that I'm a user and abuser, because I've integrated that shadow. But if I denied all of that, was like, oh no, I would never lie to you. I'd never ever betray you. No, I might lie to you. I might betray you. I might. And you probably love me for it when I did it. And that's the sin of pride, but whatever. So people are different. People will act sort of the opposite of their shadow, right? So someone who is like really, really passive all the time, right? Someone who's really mellow and shy and insecure, who acts like they never get mad. Well, they actually probably have a raging colossal shadow in them. This raging shadow of anger and rage that occasionally slips out. And that's the key, is the shadow slips out, whereas the integrated shadow is put to service. And you can tell the difference, because someone who has a slipping out of a shadow, you can actually see it very clearly in people. That's why I say, like, I can usually see people like, can you see a shadow around me? And they want me to say that I see a shadow looming over the shoulder so they get the cool spooky story. In reality, I see the shadows dancing in their behavior. Like, that's how I see them. I see, someone who is a little bit secretly racist, but doesn't want to admit it. And they seem like they're not, maybe they're like a social justice warrior, but they're actually a little racist. I see it just exuding out of their every actions, and they don't even know it. That's how I know that shadow is powerful in them. Same thing with a sexual pervert. When I say pervert, I don't mean just somebody who's like some, I'm not kink shaming, by the way. I mean like someone who's like into pedo and shit like that. Someone who's a predatory sexual pervert. They will act in a way that betrays it, because they will act like they're not, but then it'll slip out. It'll slip out like, you'll catch them staring at a kid or something, like, why are you fucking, what are you doing?
Or they drive really slow through the school zone, like slower than appropriate. Rest in peace, Norm Macdonald. Not implying I was riffing on one of
He's
his,
like a hero.
I was riffing on one of his jokes. I wasn't implying anything. I'm sorry.
Good. No, good.
Sorry for everything.
I think I got you, but man, the guy's barely cold in the ground. Yeah, I think he would approve to that joke.
But your hard drive is still warm.
It is. Actually, that's another thing. I actually got a guy, he went through my hard drive and got about a terabyte's worth of stuff, and it was all corrupted shit. I don't know what it was. It was all like temp files and shit. And I was like, fuck. So it was pretty much a near total loss, but then I checked on my Google Drives, and 3 or 4 things that were important were saved. So I didn't lose everything. I lost a lot.
Okay, good.
Yeah. The computer still works, though. I'm going to be selling that and making the money off it. So, yeah.
That death curse wasn't very effective then.
Honestly, death curse, sometimes you hit me with a death curse, I thank you, because you just gave me a new leaf to turn over. That didn't hurt. It sucked for 5 minutes, but so does getting your tooth pulled, but you feel better when you're done.
And CM says thank you for that, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome, CM. I wish I could be more specific, but I would say yes. I mean, it's going to be based off the culture norms of the area to a degree, for sure. And whatever those cultural norms are, you're going to see shadows that are more like that, more inclined to be like that. Yeah.
So, oh, you know what? I was about to read another question, but I just remembered I actually have a story I can read from somebody who wrote in.
Ooh, cute.
So, and for those of you who don't know, I'm trying to read a story submitted by you guys, the viewers, every week. It can be funny, scary, just personal, gnosis, whatnot. I accept them all. So,
Actually, before you even get into that, I want to do a
yeah.
quick plug on the mailing list. So Eric
Okay.
was saying he couldn't see my YouTube channel, which I might shadow ban again. Who the fuck knows? Because fuck the mainstream media, fuck social media. It's all garbage. YouTube's the only usable one right now. Facebook's absolute trash. Twitter's absolute trash. All the third-party ones like Minds and stuff, they're cool, but they're too. There's not enough people there for me to really make it worth my while. If I cast my net into Minds, I might get one person. If I cast my net into Facebook, I get 100. So I've got to keep using the shitty social media sites while they're still here. But I realize that as censorship goes up, because they want to sanitize it, they basically want to turn the internet into one big Netflix. That's what they kind of want to do. So they want YouTube to be Netflix, but you make the videos, so they don't have any overhead. So because of that, people like me, people like EA, we're getting either throttled, censored, shadow banned, or at the very least, we got to watch what we're saying. Otherwise, that'll happen. So what I've been doing is I created an email list that I would really appreciate you guys. If you're a fan of my show, a fan of my content, Eric, sign up for the damn thing. If you sign up for that, roughly once a week or so, you'll be getting a digest of all the content that I put up in case you missed it, because notifications don't work on half the shit. That's one thing that's important there. But about once a month or so, I'm aiming for once a month. We'll see how it goes, how much contributions I get. Once a month, I am putting in a content email. It's not just going to be updates on when I do shit. It's literally several articles in the email. This last one, we had 2 articles. One was by a member of the community who wanted to be anonymous, but they went by rubrum lepus, the word for rabbit in Latin. Red rabbit is what it means in English. A really good article about walking widdershins and what it means and why it's important. It's very informative to me. I didn't know half the stuff. And I put the meditation about death in there. So once a month, I'm going to be putting articles into this. So think of it like an e-zine, right? So it's free content, gives you even more reason to support my Patreon if you want, because this is all just stuff that goes into the stuff I do. But you don't have to. It's all free. So the link for that is right there. Linktree with all the relevant links. If you go to the very first link, it's a sign-up form. You just put your email address in there, and then you'll be able to get those notifications once a week, at least, on you know, about my uploads and shit. So very, very good thing. Yeah, check it out. Okay. And we got a super chat, but you got a story. So
yeah, no, let's get to that real quick, because it's not a question. This is, why did you not copy paste the name? Fucking Dorian 1221 with that glorious 666 says, awaiting my diabolical dasher from Domino's. I conjured via Visa with no tip.
Yeah, I mean, you might need to do the summoning of the food service people ritual. That might be what you need to do.
So our story this week, they told me it was okay to credit them as Enzangai 420. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. They are a frequent member of our Discord. They wrote, hello, friendly neighbors and internet weirdos. A while ago, this past Hexennaut? You gotta help me with the pronunciation there. Hexennacht.
Yeah, Hexennacht.
Okay.
Hexennacht. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not just completely...
So Nacht is the word for night, so it's like Hexen night.
Okay. A while ago...
Like Black Hex. That's like Black Hex. Like night, nocturnal hexing.
Okay. This past Hexanaut, I began a 30-day working with Nyx. I had never worked with her before or any of the Greek pantheon.
Oh, hold on,
Over the
Fleshy,
course.
you froze up. Motherfucker.
Oh, well, can you still hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know if they can.
Oh, okay.
Let me do some tech support bullshit. I know why you froze up, because I minimized that little window.
Oh, it
There,
was
you're back.
your fault.
Well, I shouldn't have to have it open. Like, fucking OBS never required me having it open.
Oh, growing pains of new
Like, I have
software.
you open on, like, 7 screens over here because it wants this one.
Okay, so over the course of this working, the feelings and intuition I received became whispers and dreams, ramping up to gnosis bombs. 2 weeks into it, I did a ritual. I made an offering and went directly to bed. As I lay there, I could see a black mist swirl and gather, becoming larger, then flutter about my room. Eventually, it had stretched all around the room. Then it was gone. I fell asleep and woke up a couple hours later. This time, around my bed were 9 shadow figures with red eyes. I felt a cold, lashing air all over my body and a mild paralysis. I was able to reach my wife next to me and kind of grab and squeeze her hip and thigh. She asked me, "What's wrong?" I couldn't speak. All I could do was panic, blink, and strain until I forced a verbal reply. "Nothing. Weird dream." Then the shadows were gone, and I was back to normal. The next day, I had to ask Nyx the question, "Are you a shadow?" I sat at my altar and began auto-writing her answer. "I am not exclusive to the darkness or the shadow, but I can be found there. I go where the darkness bleeds into your reality and the spaces in between. All that are in the dark, or of it, are my dominion. Primal, destructive, yet replenishing. My children are also reflections of the dark, staring back. They also seem as similar to shadows. Can you describe the dark and shadows as separate? No, because they are the same. Survive them both to find strength and wisdom." I finished a 30-day working with Nyx, and it was awesome. I noticed how much darker my room is visibly when I get home at night compared to the rest of the house.
Yeah, so, Erebus has always been one of the primordials I've wanted to get to know and work with, and Nyx in particular as well. That's why I'm really interested in the primordials and the chthonic spirits in particular. But the primordials to me always strike me as like really cool and important. Nyx among them. Nyx is probably, I don't know, of the Greek pantheon, one of my favorites to consider. Nyx is a badass. Zeus was scared shitless of Nyx. Let's not forget. I mean, she turned him around. We'll put him that way. He was, like, why Zeus, the one who's supposed to be able to kill any god, was scared of Nyx? Probably because Nyx, all the stuff that hides in the darkness of the night, all the criminals, all the monsters, like, you can kill one of us, you ain't getting us all, motherfucker. That's like the vibe I got from that exchange. So, Nyx is badass, absolutely. I think that involved in some of what you said was a little bit of personal filter bias, if that makes sense. That's not to say you were wrong, by the way. It happens to me too, where I will use lingo and jargon from pop culture because that's what the spirits trigger in my mind. So when you're talking about the spaces in between and all that, maybe Lovecraft did the same thing when he wrote that. But I think that some of that stuff, like, we're triggered to remember meaningful phrases and concepts. So I do it all the time and I don't even know that I'm doing it. So I think that's at least a portion of that. It's an interesting story. It sounds like some of the stuff I've experienced. It doesn't come off as a creepypasta, if that helps. Whether there was some embellishment, there probably was. He wouldn't be writing a good story.
I
if he
mean,
didn't.
every story needs
Sure.
a little bit of embellishment to be a good story.
Exactly. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a touch of embellishment. I'm sure if we took a light monitor in your room, it wouldn't look any darker than it does every day. But I get what you mean about the room seems darker for you. And I say Erebus because that's who strikes me with that, because Erebus really is the primordial darkness itself. The darkness side of everything itself. And, think it through. It's pretty cool stuff. But thank you for that submission. You know, I got nothing negative to say about it. I think it's a really interesting,
Yeah, thank you.
really interesting story. Looks like we had 2 super flaps since that
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, we did. From Spirit X Diesel sent us a tip with a flying pear.
Fuck yeah, flying
Appreciate you.
pear.
And also one from Eric Coetting with that glorious 666. Thank you, dude. Said pulling fried chicken out of the oven and sitting down with Alex. Love you guys. Be back later. And I put this in the chat, but I'll say it again here. Give Alex a hug for us, and
Yeah,
also tell them to give you a hug right back for us. Love you both.
we love you too, man. I'm really glad that
Oh, hey, by the way,
you're getting your chicken.
your Skype is visible to
Ah,
stream, by the way.
bubble fuck. I hate this damn thing. I'm done with it. It's just the chats.
It's not a it's
why
not a
don't send
problem.
me
I
crap on
just
Skype?
wanted
You're not
you
going to
be
get a better.
aware.
Yeah, why you're not getting me? You're not getting my attention on Skype. I'm not going to look because everyone's going to see like the whole everything. Like fuck that. You don't need to know everybody. That's my Skype list, guys. Ooh. But no, for real, I don't need people to see my whole Skype list. So no, fucking, you know, OBS stuff, man. Like I really.
I tell you what, because I feel like he asks a lot and he comes in late and we're not able to get to him for as much as he asks. If you send that to me, we might be able to read that. I'm not promising anything, but if you send that to me on Skype or Discord, then I might be able to pull it up.
Yeah, that might be better because I'm managing like 7 different things here.
Yeah, he's got a lot he's juggling right now.
All right, maybe that was a little strong. A little strong. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so on the topic of questions, I will get back. I've got a list and we'll see. Got to pull it back up. We'll get to another question, see if we can knock some of these out. From Cito, are other people our past or future lives being viewed by the character that we are currently playing?
Punctuate that a little bit because I'm not sure where the question is.
Are other people, comma, are possessive, past or future lives? Are those lives being viewed by the character that we are currently playing?
I'm not sure. I think what you're asking me is, are other people in this world our past or future lives? Yes. That's a given.
That may be, yeah.
Yeah, that to me is a given. If we're all the same consciousness, then that means Flesh Priest is either a future or prior incarnation of myself, period. The second half of that is, from our current vantage point, we do see the entire universe, but we only see consciously a fraction of it. You know, the entire universe is doing what we see here, just as we're doing something on the other side of the universe by being here. So we see it all. We just don't see it all in a detail we can understand. Like if I look at my hand, I'm looking at trillions of fucking, you know, atoms right now. But I don't see any individual atoms. I just see a hand. So in the same sense, if I look up into the sky, I'm seeing most of the universe, whatever I can see in that 180 or whatever 260 degree view, whatever that fucking is. I have a pretty wide view. Whatever that is, that I can see that much of the universe. Can't see all the details, but I see the whole thing. So in the same way, yeah, your little conscious character sees, like Indra's web, you're reflecting infinity, and every little droplet of Indra's web is reflecting itself. Right? So Indra's web is this story from ancient India. It's a Hindu story about the god Indra, which is like their version of Jupiter, but he's like a minor god compared to how he is in other cultures. Indra's web is like a great big web that the dewdrops that are on it is symbolic of the infinite reflections of reality. So on a macro scale, it's, well, I'll use the trusty green lighter. We all know this lighter because it's always getting used in all my videos.
That's becoming the new Superman.
It really is. It's gonna, yeah, right. It's becoming like my sticks, hex, and hammer spoon clank. It's the green lighter. The green lighter is in relationship to my hand, and they're reflecting each other. When I grab it, my hand is reflecting the nature of this lighter because it has to envelop it. And in so doing, if I were to hold this like this and then magically just make it disappear, but my hands stay in the same configuration, there would be like the mirror image of the lighter in my hand, right? If I were to make this lighter just disappear, there'd be a pocket of air for a moment. That's a perfect mirror image of this lighter. So everything mirrors everything. We all are in relationship to everything. We all reflect each other. But we're all the same thing, but the metaphor is everything's reflecting itself, okay? It's an infinite number of reflections, an infinite number of facets of the same jewel, and we're all reflecting ourselves into each other. So, yes, we are... Here's another mind-blowing thought. If you think about it, every moment of your experience is a new incarnation of yourself. In the most non-dual traditions that talk about ego death and all this kind of shit, when you go into mindfulness meditation, which is probably the easiest version of an ego death you're ever going to have because you've all experienced it at least once in your life. Mindfulness meditation is just the intentional achieving of that sort of daydreaming state where you're not thinking about anything, like you're not caught in your own life. Like, go for a walk in the park and just enjoy yourself and not think about your day and not think about yourself. You're literally just like, what a pretty tree. How nice. That's sort of mindfulness. Mindfulness is being fully present in all of those experiences. So that means the bad experiences and the good. If you cut your hand off, you're fully experiencing that. But you're not limited to just that. You're fully experiencing your whole reality. That moment of ego death, and when you return to being you, is a new incarnation. You've reincarnated every time that ego has reasserted itself. And if you master the right kinds of meditative practices, your mind isn't chattering with egoistic thoughts all the time. You might not even have an egoistic thought in your head, a thought at all. And when I say thought, I mean like a subvocal thinking, like I am this, blah, blah, blah. There's no narrator going on. You are just present. So the moment you feel present again with an associative reification thought. So like if I say this is a lighter, that's less egoistic, it's still a little egoistic, than if I say this is my lighter. When I say this is my lighter, that's an egoistic thought. I'm basically asserting and reifying myself as me. So when I do that, if I'm not just saying it, if I feel it, if I think it, this is my lighter. When I have that feeling, thought, and mentality, that's my ego manifesting and incarnating. When I just hold this lighter and I go, this is a lighter, that is still an egoistic thought because it's still a conceptualization of separation, right? I'm still asserting that this is a lighter and I am not a lighter. Noticing the difference, though, doesn't necessarily mean separation. It just means that you're still validating yourself by doing that. So it's a little egoistic potentially. It's not negative. That's not like gross ego. Gross ego is saying that's my lighter. But you reincarnate whenever you have these thoughts of separateness, these thoughts of self and other. You incarnate. When you wake up in the morning, that's a brand new incarnation every time. Every thought that you have is a new incarnation because you're constantly changing. Your own perception of yourself is constantly shifting and changing, and you fully recognize that you're real. And in those moments, you're incarnated. It's just a fact. But you reincarnate constantly. It's like they say, like that old saying, I forget if it was really Marcus Aurelius who said it first, it was a Stoic saying, or very cute. I love the insertion, the vertical insertion, very cute. That you can never stand in the same river twice because it's never the same river and it's never the same man, right? Because when you stand in a river, it's flowing constantly. You can never cross the same river twice. In the same sense, you are never the same. So you're constantly changing, which means you're constantly dying and be reborn every moment that you exist. That's your mortal illusion. The truth is what you are doesn't die and isn't reborn. What you really are is timeless, permanent, and immortal. It doesn't change. Consciousness does not change. There's nothing to change. It's like emptiness. It's not empty, not literal, but it's like emptiness, in that there's nothing. Consciousness doesn't do anything. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't change. Consciousness experiences. Consciousness is aware of. Consciousness is what you are, and that doesn't itself change. It observes. It observes stuff inside of itself, but even that stuff doesn't change. It's the perception that's changing. Anyway, that's a bigger topic for another time. So yeah, hopefully that helps a little bit.
And we have a super chat from Mike's World. Thank you very much, Mike. Or World, I'm not sure. Tips on how to use someone's hair in candle magic for manipulation.
So hair is a very common and powerful anchor object. It's easy to get a hold of. It's very much attached to them. The thing is, though, people will sometimes get, all excited about getting an anchor object from somebody, and it's not necessarily that strong. Yes, physical objects that are attached to their body are very useful, but let's say that what you got was like a little bit of hair that maybe fell off their head when they were walking by. You got like one little strand. That's something that was cast off by them in such a way that it actually doesn't have that strong attachment to them anymore. What I mean by that is their body's already said, fuck that hair, don't need it. The strongest anchors are things which their consciousness, their idea, their identity is still attached to. That's a strong anchor. So hair's good. Even that cast off hair is better than nothing. Right? It still gives you a better target. It's like getting a radar lock, right? It's still very good for that. But if you really want to get somebody, you need to get something that they're attached to somehow a little bit. You need a memento. You need even if it is a physical thing, it's got to be something, like you get them in their sleep and clip some hair off, that kind of shit. Like that's a lot harder to do than it sounds, right? What are you gonna just sneak into their house and basically get her, fuck with them? That's not what you're trying to do. So you're probably gonna want something that's personal to them, that they're gonna notice missing, so like when someone says, oh, all you need is to get their hairbrush and you can curse them to death. No. Yes, but no. Like yes, it's an anchor, it's strong, but that is going to pale in comparison to something you took from them. Like if you work with them and they've got like a little stuffed animal on their desk or something that they love, that their mother gave them, or their father or their brother or their husband or whatever, something that they think is cute and that they love as an ornament, pilfer that. They're going to notice that's missing, and their mind's going to be like, what the fuck happened to it? Where'd that go? Like that's going to fuck with them already, and that little doorway is open into their consciousness for you to insert what you're doing. Okay, that's how you have to see it. So yeah, if you just get somebody's hairbrush and steal some of their hair, it's better than zero. It's definitely better than their name and their birthday, or a photograph or something.
If you even if it was just cast off, if you let them know you have it, that's definitely gonna fuck them.
Yes and no, because the issue is when someone thinks they're cursed, that can hurt them, but they can also put up subconscious wards and less effective. There's a how do you put it? It depends for that. I mean, I don't know from too much personal. It's not like I cursed a million people or anything, but just intuitively I know, that if you go for them with the physical object, what's really happening is it's like a radar lock with that object. But if you want it to also be useful in making the effects happen beyond just having a good radar lock, make it something that they're going to notice is missing, something they care about. I'm not saying steal from them. I'm saying, prank them a little bit. Get that thing that they're attached to. If they got a photograph of their kid on their desk or something, of course you got to be careful then, because you don't want to hit the wrong person, but you get the point. So yeah. And so how would I use it? That's a little different, because my philosophy on magic is sort of minimal formula. That is to say, I don't like to say, well, you do this, 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 and this, and then out pops that, because it's not a machine like that. You can do the same ritual 100 times and get 15,000 results, believe it or not. I mean, it's not, 15,000 completely different kinds of results. It's not put in, A plus B and get C. That's not how this works. To me, magic is best done with an intuitive energy to it, meaning you don't have a strict plan for what you're going to do. You just know you're going to do it, and you feel your way through the setup, and then you feel your way through doing it, and then the whole thing from start to finish is really an intuitive process. Mm-hmm. That might mean some planning on some level. Yes, I'm not saying zero planning, but if you ever look in my grimoires, you will never see, outside of a few experimentations, you're never going to see a ritual format. It's never going to be get 3 drops of this, go this way, turn 14 times. If there is a ceremonial element to it, it's because it's part of the induction process. So if I'm doing if I'm telling you to like what I do for myself, if I do a ritual where I call the quarters and all that stuff, that's part of induction ritual. That's actually to get my consciousness into that intuitive state. It has nothing, none of that does anything. Me going, I call upon the powers of the northern winds and all that shit, that doesn't do anything magical. I'm not commanding spirits of the north literally to appear. That they're already here. They're already here all the time. What I'm doing is I'm setting my psyche up to be in relationship with that stuff. That's all I'm doing. So I'm kind of like switching on, kind of like Flesh Priest. Have you ever done something where you had to mentally rehearse something you're good at, but you have to mentally rehearse a little bit before doing it to get it really good? So like a checklist, like when we're doing a live stream.
Yeah, I have to psych myself into speaking to people every time I come on one of these live streams.
See, there you go, even though you're pretty good at it. So you might have to psych yourself up a little bit. So it's kind of like that. So these rituals, that's really what you're doing. So I'm not saying that you can always be intuitive, because there's just some things, like if you do one candle spell, they're all basically the same. But there's always a little something that I do with a candle spell or this kind of spell or that kind of spell that's going to be just a little bit more personalized, a little bit more intuitive, and it's going to work better for it. A lot of people say that, but then there's a lot of people who are sticklers for formula. And look, if their magic works, I'm not criticizing, but my style is intuitive first. And that's because what I realize is happening is my consciousness is meant to go to the timeline in the multiverse that sees the thing that I'm hoping for. Okay, so if I'm trying to manipulate someone with my ritual, I'm not actually trying to change them. Like, that's something that I still have to get used to at times, and I'm the one teaching you that. So if I've got to still remind myself of that sometimes, trust me, you're going to have to do it too. So you got to remind yourself and realize I'm not trying to actually change them. What I'm actually trying to do is to see a timeline where I get the thing that I want. That's a very subtle, but actually a very big difference, but it sounds subtle. Okay, because you're going to say, well, doesn't that mean that I manipulate them? They don't exist. That's the key. You have to realize what you're seeing is an illusion anyway. Okay, so you're trying to see the illusion where you see the illusion you want. So let's put it like a dream. Let's use the dream analogy. Let's pretend, because it's not really a pretend, but let's pretend that reality as you know it is completely a dream right now. Let's pretend I'm not here, Flesh Priest isn't here. You're dreaming us right now, okay? So let's say you took a gun and shot me in the head today in this dream world. Have you killed anybody? No. You might see me go and drop and go, I killed Thorne. But Thorne never existed to kill. You still go to jail for it. Because we live in a very consequential dream. But you're not actually killing me. Because that's your dream of it. So that's a very simplistic analogy. I'm not saying take that too far and say, well, that means I can get away with murder. No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that relationship, though, is accurate. The person you're trying to manipulate is no more real than the person in your dream. But that also means you're no more real than that dream. This isn't solipsism where it's you're the only real person. No, it's that all of this is a dream. The dreamer and the dream are one. They're both illusory. And both of those take place within infinite consciousness. The consciousness is what's real. The consciousness is the one that's doing it all. The consciousness is facilitating, it's experiencing it all. The things that are happening are like dreams in consciousness. So don't take it too far and think, well, that means I don't have to get out of the way of a gun or something. No, of course you do. But it means that a dream is killing a dream. A dream is manipulating a dream. So how do you manipulate someone in your dreams? If you can't actually shoot me and kill me, what are you really doing? Well, you're pantomiming the act. So you're really seeing a dead Thorne, but you're not actually killing Thorne. So when you're trying to manipulate the person, instead of seeing it as you're manipulating the person, you're trying to see a manipulated person. So it's a little different context, but it's an important one. Once you figure that out and feel that, everything changes for you. It's magic stops being about causing shit to happen, and it becomes about seeing things that are possible.
That timing.
And, yep, that's the we're done with the night. Cody Hamilton says, by the power of Grayskull. I mean, you know, I guess I'm a little bit like He-Man. A fat He-Man, but fuck it, I'll take it. Prince Adam. I'm a Prince Adam, I guess.
I wanted to be Prince Adam. I think I'm fabulous enough for it.
I think you could be Prince Adam. Actually, you know what?
I say, hey,
oh, what's going on? See, why couldn't the remake have been that? See, I didn't watch it because I heard it was really bad, but the remake would have been great if that's what it was. If you're gonna fuck it up, at least make it funny, goddammit. At least make it tongue-in-cheek postmodern. Don't make it like some fucking preachy garbage. But yeah.
Man, anybody who hasn't seen the He-Man version of that song, the hey, watch it. Started off ironic for me of like, oh, this is so stupid. Now I just listen to it unironically. Just fucking windows down, stereo all the way up. Fucking everybody on the street's gonna listen to this jam.
Why is it it's the same song, but somehow He-Man doing it, Prince Adam, just makes it better? I can't.
I can't explain it. It's just, it's so pure.
It just, something about it. And I don't know if it's like some kind of a Rainbow People anthem or something. I don't care. Fuck it. Then color me cool with that because it's fucking awesome. There's a 9-hour version, Dan? Dan R says there's a 9-hour version of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I believe it.
Fucking
Unless
hysterical.
he's referring to the CKY He-Man song, because I would also believe there's a 9-hour version of that with Skeletor and his specialized staff.
I don't think I saw that one.
And anybody who knows.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Skeletor
is one of my favorite He-Man meme though. Like fuck He-Man.
Oh yeah, no, Skeletor is a great fucking meme.
I love the when you're really evil but you still love cute things ones. I love those. That's like me in a nutshell. I mean, I still got my little wizard here. And my wife will probably come running up with the new Banana Man that she got. And
oh, fuck yeah.
I love stuffed animals, dude. Look, I work with egregoric spirits, familiars, and all that. Stuffed fucking animals make great idols. Not gonna lie.
I was gonna bring that up when you were talking about, Behemoth X about, like, you're a dark motherfucker, but I bet you also have a heart of gold to that effect, you know? I'm like, this is coming from a black magic motherfucker who collects stuffed animals. Like, it's all good here.
You know, how much of that black magic motherfucker is just the armor? You know, that's the question. How much of it is legit evil? How much of it isn't? And I got to tell you, most of the most evil black magic motherfuckers I ever met are actually the nicest people I know. Go fucking figure. I think that a lot of that, it's not an act so much as it is it's an integration of something is what it is.
Yeah.
And that makes them a nicer person because they're still capable of all the evil.
They're the Fenriers who were misunderstood.
Usually.
The broken are beautiful.
No. The Brokin. BRO-KIN. The Brokin. Yes, I like it. No, but for real though, yeah, like we're all busted ass toys on the island of misfit toys, and I intend to be one of the kings. Fuck it. If you're gonna be busted, then be one of the kings of the busted.
A Mobius one says He-Man was the original composer.
Oh,
Fuck
shit.
Four Blondes. That's my edition.
Yeah, yeah.
I was right. That was Four Blondes, right?
CM Hilnakainen says Behemoth X would make a fortune voice acting demons in video games. I think that's true.
Oh,
You know what
fuck
I'm
yeah,
relegated
dude.
to? I'm not saying I can't do cool voices, but I'm always going to be relegated to the... If you ever watch the Legend of Zelda cartoon that came on, I'm like the guy
Stop. I think I did a little bit
I'm
too much
laughing too hard to
Oblivion there.
actually do it. Like, it's all about me, Link. You know, I'm relegated to that.
Oh.
You know that. Don't know why, but that's like the guy I do. Yes. You know?
That's I don't like that. Like, good job, but I don't like that.
No, right? It's definitely bad guy voice material. Not the good bad guy. Like, that's the annoying bad 80s cartoon bad guy.
That's the guy that the heroes hate that they have to work with, but he's the only way that they can get the MacGuffin to stop the greater evil.
My wife's laughing now because I must have did the voice. She must have just heard it.
Oh. DH, tell us about the dolphins.
The dolphins? No, I don't want to talk about the poor dolphins because you're going to eat them. They come in the tuna cans because they don't have the dolphin safes like they should. They lie when they put dolphin safe on the can. It's not real. You don't believe me, I can see it. Just because you don't believe in the great dolphin in the sky.
I can feel Camilla smiling at that.
She will be in a moment. Probably takes about 30 seconds to get there. Maybe 60.
Do you like the dolphin's blowhole?
I don't like the dolphin's blowhole. That's No, there was a whole thing about that, about dolphins in captivity, and yeah, those who know
Do you
know.
think that the dolphin blowhole smells like when you don't brush your teeth?
Is that true?
Yes, I think so.
Well, hold on. I think that's just true in your case because you were making out with the blowhole, and you
That's
don't
not me.
brush.
I'm 7 years old, you dirty bastard. Don't you talk to me that way. The great demon dolphin in the sky will get you. You'll find out he's in the darkness even now.
You know why I like that voice? Because then it makes my voice different when it's done.
Right.
My wife's laughing her ass off.
I think everybody else
But
who
you pervert, what are you, like a pedo? You talk to me like that, like I'm gonna fuck a dolphin? What the fuck's wrong with you, man? I thought you were better than that.
I think everybody who tuned out for a little bit just fucking perked up like, what video did it just like autoplay to? Oh, it's still the stream? That's weird. Oh, I can hear her.
Yeah, she can't hold it in now. She's fucking joking. She's literally joking.
Don't die, Camilla. We love you too much.
Spiritual Elmo. I don't know Elmo well enough to say anything he would say, so I believe you, though. I have a feeling that's a very Elmo kind of voice.
Who you calling a blowhole? Thank you, Nina.
Oh, Nina dropping the funny. That's why she's a wrench, baby. That's why. Oh, the blue wrenches.
Fucking shit, that actually hurts.
Oh, you should see. I'll get really dark with that motherfucker. When I do that kid voice, I'll be like all, the great old ones dolphin edition. It's fucking great.
That sounds like it is something that needs reverb and dark music over it, just to like that's childhood trauma, like in a nutshell. If you just slip that into a movie, there's gonna be people growing up that never get over that shit.
Yeah, it's fun. I do have quite a range. I can do falsettos like you wouldn't believe, but I don't know. I should do more music. I should play some of my songs for a live stream one time, piss people off. I've done it before. I'll do it again. I swear I will.
I've considered just fucking sending Ace some money. Like, hey, let's use your music for the live streams.
No, he'd be fine with it. The problem is, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because of the software he uses or what. Last time I played his music on my channel, I got hit with a copyright thing. And it's like, it's because there's those scam companies.
They don't respect the power of the dolphins.
That will claim your shit. They'll strike your shit because they know that you won't be able to fight it easily. Like it's a big rigmarole to go through. So you either have to delete the video or let them monetize it on your ass. So, you know, it's a pain in the ass. So that's one reason why I won't play his stuff on here. It has nothing to do with him. It's because it for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because of the program he uses, the clips and stuff he uses. Somehow they just know how to claim the shit.
Well, it could be too. I don't know the ins and outs of his production or the process that he uses, but if he's getting his instrumentals from somebody, it could be that the instrumental is getting flagged.
Yeah, maybe there's like a sample in it or something, but he says it's his own sample, so I don't know, man. I don't know. I know that if you look it up, there are companies that are scamming with that. Like it's not literal.
Absolutely.
It's not legit.
There's a guy, the Fat Rat, who actually had his own song was stuck in one of those fucking copyright limbos. The song that he made, it was not a remix or anything. It was original. It's fucking there's a lot wrong with this platform, but you know,
look, hey, it's all we got right now.
It is like that's what I could say about it. It definitely is.
You know, there will come a time. There will come a time. I don't know when this will be. You know, me and EA Quitting have like the same. The more successful I get at this, the more I truly believe that the day will come when I will look back on this and be glad I turned it off. And just go back to being a Joe Blow. And, you know, sure, people might recognize me on the street, maybe if I get famous enough, but I don't actually want to be that famous necessarily. I want my work to be famous as fuck. I want like my next book to form a future religion type of famous. Not a religion specifically. I'm just saying like a future. I want people to look on my work like they look on Crowley's work, but better. I want people to be like, wow, this guy completely, like Alan Watts, like you said, Alan Watts with Demons. I want people like 50 years from now to, unfortunately there'll be too much volume of material. So someone will have to like get the highlights. I want someone to take those lectures and to have spiritual, not just because it edifies my ego, but because I feel like I've gained so much from people like Alan Watts over the years and stuff like that I want to be part of that resonant wave that moves that gnosis forward forever. Like I want to give my own echo to that and just make it move forward through history, because someday some fool will be sitting there in a miserable life like I was, just sad and upset and you know, not much to live for, and so they just retreat into these meditative places and they listen to these people and they have an awakening because of it. And I want to facilitate that for some poor fucker like me, because it is me.
Yeah, that's really, whenever we reach out with art, that's who we're trying to touch. We're trying to touch us in the different.
I'm not saying there's zero ego involved. It's just, ultimately, it's not even about the ego. It's because I know, like I wrote in Become the Maelstrom, I have this fantasy of like someone 300 years from now reading Become the Maelstrom and like, what the fuck is this shit? And trying to figure it out what I meant. And it just,
Don't worry, bro. I'm gonna do that. Like I've said, the moment that you pass, and I hope it's not soon or anything. Like I hope you keep going. But the moment that you drop off the face of the earth or whatever, I'm gonna be there. Just I was there. I was next to him, and this is the great work, and that's how I won't have to work anymore.
And he touched me on the pee-pee with his blowhole.
That's what you're gonna say. I know it. You're going to make up this whole freaking fanfic about all the crazy shit that I never did that you're going to say I did. You should have been there that one time we did ayahuasca, even though we never did. Oh my God. Like he was farting Star Spangled Banner. You just wouldn't believe it.
Damn, you caught on. Okay. I'll have to dress it up even more now, because that was stage 2.
Oh shit.
Flesh Priest great-grandchildren will summon DH. Well, first, I'll need to get to making grandchildren.
I mean, you know, you're still young.
Yeah, I don't know. Did I I'm sorry. This is totally.
Look, you might use a towel and someone might shower with it afterwards, and weird shit might happen. And at least that's what my grandma said. Like, don't ever.
Spirit X Diesel
On that
hit us
note.
with another super chat with Dancing Paris as #1 fan.
Oh, thank you, Spirit X
Appreciate you.
Diesel. I love the pair. I don't know what it is about the pair. I don't know why.
Yeah,
It's probably because it looked like how I looked like last year or the year before. That's probably what it is.
I don't know if I told you this story before, it tangent off the last one, and I don't know, maybe some people think this is funny. Did I tell you about how I came out to my mom?
No. You might want to know I am underage,
On the topic of grandkids, my mom was always bothering me for years and years about when can I expect some grandkids. I'm like, I'm not ready. She says, well, by the time I was your age, you were already like 5 or 6 or whatnot, 'cause she had me young. I told her I was seeing somebody new. I didn't mention what gender that person was, and she's like, oh, that's great. A couple months later, so when am I going to expect grandkids out of you two? Like, well, tell you what, Mom, he and I are going to try extra hard tonight, just for you. Oh, nope, we're doing it.
We tried to nip that whole thing in the bud with our kid because when he was like 7 or 8, I felt like he was like doing certain things that I was like, oh, maybe he's curious about this stuff, or maybe, certain mannerisms and interests. So I was like, all right, I'm not trying. Yeah, I'm not trying to say, because it's not like that, but so I started putting it out there. I'm like, like fishing for hints as to what the preferences were, and even saying stuff like, I guess he was older than I. He wasn't 7. I'm exaggerating. I think he was like 13 or something. And like ask questions like, when you get, older, when you start dating, you whether it's a guy or a girl, we're gonna, really be supportive, but you got to tell us stuff, and like trying to like find out. And I forget how he finally, oh, you know how he found out? I don't want to blow up his spot too much. I shouldn't even tell this story. The kid's phone. We'll just put it that way. That's how we figured out the kid's phone. The browser histories are a thing, and the truth came out. So we found out, but like we tried to be as receptive as we could be so that he wouldn't hide it from us, whatever it was. Beyond normal, you don't want your parents to know that you like anything until you're a certain age anyway. So we weren't trying to push into it or anything like that, but we wanted to make sure that he would feel comfortable telling us whichever it would be. So why are you falling over? What did I say? Did I say something? What did I say?
God damn it. I feel like I'm sorry. I feel like I give CM too much fucking airtime, but he just tickles me, and CM held a kind and says, where there is a blowhole, there is a way.
I never should have brought this character out, because now you're all going to be dirty bastards about it. I really shouldn't have done it, because now everyone's going to say, do the dolphin kid, do the dolphin kid. I'd be like, no, I don't want to do him, because he's supposed to be special. He was for me and my wife, and that was it. And now you have to have him too. That's not okay. It's not.
That's basically like that's like doing that voice is a little bit like the overtone voice. Like if you can do that, you can do an overtone voice.
That's...
Because you have to do something with the back of your throat a certain way. Oh gosh, shut up. Don't CM Helnikainen, don't take that out of context.
Where there's a blowhole, there's a way.
Oh, she's laughing again. I think we're about to have some cackling.
Good. That means the stream was a success. Yeah, I'm not gonna say.
Don't you touch my ammo, you dirty bastard! Tickle my ammo, I'll show you.
Well, just bring that blowhole right over then, why don't you?
Why are you touching me on my blowhole, Mr. Old Man?
It's okay. The Catholic Church does this all the time. Jackpot!
I got nothing now. Nope. It'll be too easy to go too far with these jokes.
Yeah, we better nip that in the bud.
People will get
right
the wrong
quick, just like the
impression.
priest did.
Yeah, it's oh, zingo.
I love hearing Camilla laugh. Oh, fuck yeah. There she blows. God damn it, Nina.
You
Okay,
know what it is? It's because when I do the little kid thing with my wife, shut up, dude,
Phrasing.
say it right, fucking moron. When when I do the little dolphin routine, okay, somebody help me here, I'm drowning real fast. When
you use the voice to entertain her.
Yeah, it's always the darkest, most twisted shit that I'm saying when I'm pretending to be that kid. It's never just like, it'll be literally like I can't even do it on purpose. I have to be in the right frame of mind, and just horrible dark shit will come out.
I'm gonna sacrifice them all to the great dolphin. You're gonna see.
Just like sick shit. I can't do it now on purpose, but shit like that, like much worse than that.
Yeah, that's just like the go-to example, but not like clever.
Yeah,
It's something really truly dark and twisted that you haven't heard before, just coming out of Dolphin Kid's voice.
And the sea turtles,
almost.
Sea turtles, they get the straws up their nose, and the dolphins.
No, nope. Nope.
Yeah, I'm going to go see The Who in 2 days. The Who, the Hun tour. Going to see that on Saturday in Irving Plaza. So if you're a New York Cityer, I don't know if I'll be able to hang out with you, but if you get a hold of me ahead of time, you might be able to pass me on the subway or some shit. So that's going to be in Irving Plaza on Saturday.
The Who, like are you talking
Mongolians.
about
The Mongolians.
Oh, okay. Fucking dope. Sick shit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Metallica was cool. I mean, Metallica, idiot, moron, fool, dweeb, jerk, loser. Megadeth was cool, is what I meant to say. Although I wasn't really into all the Christian metal bands that were there. I think it was Lamb of God and Trivium. They're kind of Christian-y. They don't, I don't know. They're not like strict Christian, but they're supposedly Christian metal bands. Not really into it, but Megadeth, one of the big four from the original days, and Hatebreed opened for the whole thing. I liked Hatebreed a lot. I always like Hatebreed. But yeah, so we're going to go see The Who this Thursday. I'm really looking forward to that one. Thursday, idiot. Saturday. I'm tired, man. I think I'm gonna have to close the stream soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we should close it soon. I don't know how we could top some of the fucking shenanigery we've already gotten ourselves into. I don't know.
I will say you should be happy because we just hit the threshold where I actually can pay you tonight. It's been a while. We actually hit. We made bank.
I'm not like that's nice and I'm happy for it, but I really truly in my heart of hearts, because I know I can't stop you, I wish we hit just under that threshold where you feel like you don't have to pay me. And that's the perfect spot for me.
Someday I'm going to get so big and famous that I'm going to hire you.
Oh yeah, that is not a problem. It's like, okay, yeah, pay me. You're making enough. Fucking, I'm sorry.
I like to pay because it keeps it on the pro level. This way you keep showing up. That's why.
And we weren't able to get to all the questions tonight, and I am sorry for that. Obviously, we like to get a little bit ranty about things, and we like really breaking into questions, so we can't always get to all of them. We did get one that I do want to bring up for next time.
Sure.
That's not
well, was it a short question or a long question?
No, it's a little bit more of an involved question. I think it's a good one though. You know who wrote it. I think we'll bring it up next time.
I'm going to sacrifice you to the great black dolphin in the darkest depths of hell. And it's going to eat you, it's going to poop you out its blowhole, and then the other little dolphins are going to come and eat it, and then they're going to get caught in the nets with the dolphins and the tunas, and then someone's going to eat it and then shit you out. That's how bad it's going to be. It's going to happen. It's really going to happen. Shut up.
And on that note, we got a tail-gunning super chat from CM Helnikainen. Thank you, dude. Who says, blowhole.
Blowhole.
I'm gonna wear that shit out so nobody wants to hear it again.
I think you have
Should I do
to.
an entire non-duality rant with that voice one day?
Well, you see, the nature of consciousness is
Oh,
not
yep,
so.
you're getting it.
It's not.
That's funny because in my head it doesn't sound anything like what
It was
you're
pretty
doing.
good. It was pretty good.
In the, you see, most people view things as two ways of good and evil, but it's not about that. In non-duality, you really want.
Yeah, we'll both do it together and we'll pretend that it's a software issue.
It also helps if you think like a kid and how a little kid would talk. They're going to say words just a little different. They're not going to say them as an adult would say them exactly. You have to stumble over some of the words and emphasize some of the wrong letters just a little bit. So like if you have a spaghetti, you don't say spaghetti, you say sketty. Or you say... you say the sketty? You say the sketty.
Could you imagine Draymond said do a whole video like that? That would be really fucking funny. Like to do an entire half-hour video. My voice box would probably shoot out the.
Oh
fucking...
yeah, no, we would both fucking die. We would sound like this by the end.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucking. Oh my
actually,
God.
I don't know what my actual speaking voice is because it actually changes depending on who I'm around. When I talk to women, my speaking voice goes up. When I talk to some men, my speaking voice goes down. When I talk to some other men, it goes higher. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I don't know what my actual by myself voice really sounds like. Because I do actually have a pretty wide range, I think I've been told, but I think I'm mostly tenorish when I'm talking to people, right? I guess I would say that. Like it's somewhere in the upper levels, but some people say I have a deep voice. I don't think I have a deep voice.
Yeah, well, no, I'm the same way, and I'm actually conscious of this. Maybe this is some fucking apply this to magic as you will. Everybody listening, is that I consciously change the way I speak depending on who I'm talking to, because I will do that where if I want to be perceived as less threatening or more sociable, whatever, sociable, I'm reaching the end of the night where I can't speak. I'll be more fluent with my voice. I'll be in a higher register, whereas if maybe there's a lot of noise around, especially, low carries a lot better. You be very low and flat with your tone to just cut through. There's no bullshit. It's all just very direct. Where, I don't think there is truly any one natural speaking voice. I think there is a speaking range.
I think that's true. I also, when I used to smoke,
my that
voice
glorious rasp.
I was told my voice was gloriously gorgeous when I smoked. I mean, I would say that Peter Steele would still kick my ass in a singing contest, but I was approaching Peter Steele. No, because he doesn't sound like his voice is very melodious, actually. It's got a really, I used to, when I smoked, my voice was really able to hit most of those notes pretty loud. Now, over the years, I guess it tightened up because I guess the tar and all that shit makes your voice box looser or something. I don't know. But, not anymore. Not anymore. Now I have to fake it to do that. Not as cool.
I understand, man. Before recording vocals, sometimes I will straight up chain smoke cigars. Mm-hmm. Just to fuck it. Not a recommended tactic. But
no, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, you're not wrong though. I mean, definitely some. Jasmine, but I guess that's Peter Steele. Cry. I know, man. Like that. Like when I met him once at a signing, and I felt like such a fucking dork. I mean, here I was 100 pounds overweight, feeling like I used to look, because I used to look a little bit like him back, like a fat version of him. But I shouldn't say I looked like him, but I felt like I looked like him. Everyone said, "Oh, Thorne's Peter Steele.
I
look how."
You did.
I guess a little bit.
And facial structure wise, and with that hairstyle you had, especially, it was reminiscent of Peter Steele for sure.
I mean, I was like a fat, short Peter Steele, because I'm 6'1", and he's like 6'5" or some shit.
Is he really? Fuck, I thought he was
6'4".
5'2".
No, he's like
I thought he was like a
6'4".
little cute Glenn Danzig.
No, so
So
yeah.
fucking
I
adorable
just showed my
bastard.
wife the video of Glenn Danzig getting totaled with one shot from a fucking big dude from a. You
fuck
see
yeah.
that? Do you ever see that fucking?
Fuck that guy.
I love his music, but damn, that was a good hit. I love seeing that because he turned around. He's such a douche. Like, I don't know exactly what happened except that he was delaying the show and then wouldn't let the other guys play. And they're like, they try to confront him and he like pushes them and he just. But it wasn't even a good punch. It was just like a big fat guy punch and just sack of potatoes right on the ground. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, no, it's fucking. What I said earlier about separating the person from the work, Glenn Danzig, I appreciate the work so much. I love what he's made. Fuck that guy, though. Fuck.
Oh man. So no, that I showed my wife that. She was like, we almost got a car accident because she was watching it.
So I want to point
I
out.
love seeing people just get to like that's like that when Van Damme got taken out by the Hell's Angel guy. Like that to me is just like the funniest shit. When oh well, whatever.
I want to point out a comment by Dan R. Now I believe what DH says. Both he and Flesh are the same, just different Elmo puppet hands. Yeah, I know what you're saying, man. I got to meet fucking why did his name just leave me? Ronan Harris, V&V Nation. I got to meet him on the street, and I just turned into the biggest. That's him.
Well, you know, it's funny because like he's like, you know, he was signing the CD for me. He's like, hold on, give me. Who do you want this made out to? And I'm like, oh, make it out to Daniel. You know, like I couldn't even like. I was like, ha, you know. He's like, all right, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. You ever read the Bible, Daniel? And I'm like, oh, you could say that. Do you ever read the book of Daniel? Because he was getting like this Christian phase near the end. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like I lived it though. He's like, really fucking right on, man. I like felt like such a fucking dork. Like, I can't even fucking think about how dork I felt.
You know what? There's that thing that people say, don't meet your heroes because they won't live up to your expectations. But also, don't meet your heroes because you will turn into the biggest fucking pile of dweeb ever in front of them.
Mm-hmm. There's not a lie. You know, that reminds me of like why I say don't put me on a fucking pedestal. Like sometimes I say that because I'm mad at somebody because they expect something out of me. You know, don't put anybody on a pedestal because you know when you're doing that, you're acting like you own them. And you may not realize you're doing it. You're like, wow, they're so wonderful. I'm not saying I own them. You're just so no, you're shaping them. You're limiting them to only that wonderfulness that you think it is. And when they don't live up to that standard, then it pisses everybody off because now you know, so
I hate that because it's like they have it's like they're auditioning for roles in a play and they've already decided which one you're going to fit into before you've even auditioned, before they've even gotten to know you or see you perform. It's like, what are you truly about? No, you're going to be fucking Andromeda in the Sigma 6 play. I know.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, I mean, and so don't ever, like, that's why I say, like, we were talking about earlier, like, what occultists to listen to. Look for someone who's sincere, who's not hiding shit, someone who talks about their shit, who's not afraid to be real, and that doesn't mean that they're necessarily a horse's ass, like, I'll be on these streams or something, you know. I mean, the guy that you see when I'm solo and I'm talking slow and all edgy and shit, that's also me. Like, that's not me. Like, that's not an act. That's just the more somber, by myself thought type person. You know, that's me in a, you know, you bring out the bubbly, you know, non-binary Thorne, I guess. I don't know what the fuck I'd call it. You bring out that version of me. And if I talk, like, if I, like, it really depends on who I have. I bet you if we had Behemoth X on here, I don't know if I would be, like, all gushy or if I'd be like, yeah, man, that's, like, totally, yeah, exactly. You know,
you would become Peter Steele in that interaction.
I might have to. Yeah, I might have to. I might have to. So...
I'm going to point out something from chat. Victorious said in response to Wyatt, they are the same hole. Hashtag non-duality in terms of dolphin blowholes. And he's going to be pissed if the new book doesn't have a full chapter on blowhole rituals.
You know the problem with the blowhole ritual? Yeah, we're just gonna leave that there. Non-binary Thorne Dorian 121 says, which is fucked up because I'm not non-binary. I'm non-dual. Like, which I guess means the same thing, doesn't it?
They're all the same in the non-dual sense,
right? So I guess that's right. I'm non-dual Thorne. I'm non-binary. I guess that's right. I guess you can say I'm non-binary in a grand kind of way. Don't get your hopes up, everybody who likes that kind of thing, but not judging, I just ain't doing. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so I feel like we stopped talking magic a while ago, and we should probably wrap pretty soon.
I guess we could do that.
Christopher W. asked, I just had a real quick question, if I may. The mantras and ambient style invocations and whatnot, is it normal to be freaked out like fear and whatnot, like in the beginning when you were first listening? Oh, boy. I mean, not by design. Absolutely possible. Not by design, though. It's possible that maybe some of the reason for the fear is a lot similar to the reason why people fear ego death. Something's changing. That could be it. Or it could just be you're opening a door you're not ready to open right away. Maybe you need to open it a little slower. But I would say not by design. I certainly didn't design them to scare you. They're definitely maybe a little edgy sounding, but they're not meant to. They're definitely meant to be unsettling. Like the Lucifer one, my favorite one, that Lucifer most powerful mantra. That one is unsettling the first. Like definitely to me, even when I hear that the first time, and I hear that like female voice that somehow ended up appearing because of the way the layering happened. Like, I don't know how it happened, but there's like a female like singing that goes along, and sounds almost like nondescript singing, like just melodious singing that goes with it.
Yeah, I'm still meant to analyze that from an audio engineering perspective.
And unfortunately, because my computer died, I don't have the file to send you anymore to show you. Of course, you didn't have Mixcraft, so it wouldn't matter. But I could have shown you, like, there was no recording of a female voice at all. It was nothing like that. It was just somehow the way it was layered. Maybe the phase shifts that were going on, because, I probably had phaser going or something. Maybe it was just causing a resonance that caused, like, a high pitch. It was really weird. But that one definitely was never meant to be happy. But, it's definitely meant to be a little unsettling. At least at first, but you're supposed to fall into a rhythm with it like you're drumming and just kind of fall into it. So I don't know. I can't explain anything better than that. It's kind of on you to maybe figure out why. Maybe there's some shadow work there you got to do.
Looks like you've got a fan with the Mixcraft.
What? Oh yeah, Mixcraft's pretty good. I mean, I don't know if it's amazing, but it's the one I know how to use, so.
I mean, that's fair. That, the workflow is more important than the tools.
Yeah, and now that you sort of broke my brain on I didn't even realize I could layer more than one reverb effect at a time. I thought I was limited to just the one time and that anything else would just do the same thing. I had no idea that if it's like layers on Photoshop, like, if I have one reverb and then I put something else, then it's actually affecting under that. And if I reverb like 5 times, it can like bottom out the whole computer and kill me. And yeah, I know, I feel stupid.
This is what, no. It's not that you're stupid. This is what it's like for you when somebody gets something that you've been saying. Holy shit, that feels amazing. Hold on, so, I'm so glad this is recorded. I could relive it again and again.
And what you said to me was like, you and Eddie both were like, well, you want to pump it through the 3.24689 floppy flap and you need to get the the deconcertive modulator into the stringent bungholeinator. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then you're like, okay, just reverb it a lot. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and it's like, and I don't mean this backhanded by any means. It's by putting it into dumb speak, because people like Eddie and I, like, whenever you get into a niche hobby and you start learning all the parlance and whatnot, it's so like you forget that normal people don't understand what the fuck you were talking about. Or it's like, oh right, I gotta how can I explain this in English? Do magic, get money. That's how it works.
But the funny thing is, a lot of the most successful fucking musicians don't know shit about music. I mean, honestly, like growing up, my friends who had their little garage bands, we had this one band, Evolution, and they used to do covers of Metallica, Slayer, and Megadeth, and nothing but they had their original music too. If they had hit the right label people, they probably would have been famous. They probably would have been famous. Like, it was right around the right time. They probably would have been famous. They were so fucking good. Now, they knew music, but I also know, just from knowing them, they weren't like, you know, music majors in college. They didn't know all the ins and outs of production and all. They just knew, if I do this, it sounds really fucking good. C chord here, F chord there, blah, 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 blah. You know, most metal and music is set on the A note. Blah, and they didn't know like all the ins and outs, but they just knew this sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Because there's, you know, this can apply to many things, but keeping within the realm of music is that, you know, understanding theory and whatnot is just the way to help us communicate to one another what it is we're doing, to understand why certain choices were made, or no, scratch that, just why certain choices bring out the effects they do in people. Actually really intuitively knowing this just sounds fucking awesome does not come from a fucking book. Ever. It comes from actually putting in the work and fucking doing it and fucking really understanding what you're doing. Is that applicable to magic? Huh, I don't know. You be the judge.
I think you can stick it in the blowhole if you want.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and Drayvon's giving me like tips of like, you know, do the vocal like left and right channel. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that before, like stereo it up. Definitely true. And some people actually say do that, but then offset them by like a half second or some shit. I don't know how much, but you like just, so they're not exactly like the same. I don't know how much of a difference, but just play with it. But no, the other one that I found out that really fucked my head up was when I was starting to do the cryo chamber style ambient. That's my real dream, is to do more of that shit. When I was starting to do that, the only way I knew to do it was I would play a note, then I would fucking save it as a mix and then import the mix later. And then I found out, I felt like such an idiot. All I have to do is right click and it'll say mix to new track. And I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I did. For like a year, I was doing it like the slowest, most dumb, having to name the file and then find it and bring it back. And then if I didn't like it, you're telling me I could have just been like click, 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 click all this time? I felt so fucking dumb. Then I found out, I don't want to get into it, all the little tricks that I picked up just fucking with it this last week. I felt like I leveled up and I finally reached level 1. That's but the funny thing is I made really good music, I think, so far without knowing shit on it. So I don't know. I like the music I've made on, especially the Midsummer Kings of the Goetia song, and the other one that I love, but I think other people just like feel like it's like too depressing to listen to.
Well, hell yeah. And I'll point that out as a prime example of like, I don't think you would take umbrance in me saying that we're both into music, but I know a lot more of the theory and I'll say practical as a, you know what I'm pointing at, shorthand for it. I know a lot more of that than you do for sure, but which one of us has made more music? I've got one song on YouTube and a bunch of fucking snippets. You actually have shit on fucking Reverb and whatnot. Like, you've made a lot more than me.
Well, that's why I've always wanted to do the music, and then you collab with me and insert your own genius into it, and then it won't sound like bottomed out trash because you'll know what to do with it, and maybe you'll be able to insert some other shit that I didn't think of.
Yeah, if I can convince you to send me the stems, like isolate the tracks and send them to me, fucking absolutely. Even if it's just for a mixdown, I'll do it.
In fact, I'm going to play Midsummer Fantasy now while we do our...
Oh, yeah.
Because I just need to hear that shit.
Hey, I've got a new send-off that I'm gonna sample too. It's a little bit of inspiration from a coworker I got. When that comes up, of course.
Saturn Loves the Murder of Crows. I like that one too. What sucks is I like the one that's in my intro video the best. That's actually that song, but it's down tempo and down tuned a bunch. I love that version of it. But
Oh,
yeah.
did you make that
The intro music?
Yeah.
Where I'm walking away. Yeah, that's actually Murderer Crows. Murderer Crows is like a higher, it's like, you know, ding 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 ding. But then when I put it in the intro, it's boom 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 boom. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that, like, not to fucking jack you off under the table or anything, but it's no, I fucking love that. That's excellent. Like, I didn't realize those were the same. Like, I must just not be familiar with that song. Yeah, no, that whole fucking video, honestly, is just fucking perfect. Like, it has that nice kind of like, just handheld quality to it. It's got that roughness of this obviously wasn't professional while still just being like the perfect fucking moment. Like, I know how it was made and it totally comes across as just, you know, walking down the street with Camilla and, oh, this would be fucking perfect.
Mm-hmm. I really, that night, like that winter, knowing what was coming, having fucking Marbas, you know, channel everything, seeing it all starting, it was so fucking surreal, you know, because that was like we were almost at the spring summer. It was basically early. I think it was early summer or late spring. I guess it was. I forget the exact time of year when I released that. But it was foggy out. It was the trees were green, so it couldn't have been winter. But it was definitely in the early part of the COVID panic bullshit. And the streets were completely empty, you know, and man, it was just, you know, it was so surreal going for that midnight walk and nobody was out. And then that fog that hit, and we're walking, I'm like, I got to take a picture of this. Hopefully it comes out. And luckily it really did. And you're right, it was literally just a perfect moment that we caught. And I don't know if I could make that ever happen on purpose ever. You know, and I look at that and I'm like, you know, I'm glad I got it from behind with my big cloak on, because you can't tell. You can tell I'm fat in that, but it's not like I don't think I would look that different, you know, if I did the same thing over again wearing those clothes.
Yeah, if you did the same thing right now, it would look no different.
So it's like, oh man, and it's just, that is like, you know, people go like, oh, what an edgy bastard. No, I really do that. Like, it wasn't just me like hyping it up. No, this is how I dress, but that's edgy. Also how I dress. Like, I dress like a goth biker, Mad Max priest, monk, Jedi, Sith guy. Oh, like, yeah, I'm all of those things at any given day.
Fuck, you can ask Cameron the next time he's in here, because he knows, you know, I've mentioned this before, he knows me in real life, whatever that is. I fucking wear weird shit to work all the time and everything. Like, I tell everybody, dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And I'm aiming to be a fucking magician. I'm aiming to, fuck yeah. No, wear weird shit, fucking flag all the shit you want. Wear what makes you comfortable.
You should, if you're a black magician, any magician, fuck that, not just black magician. Number one, the color black is an absorber of energy, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're wearing black, you're absorbing energy, period. Even if you just mean it in the literal sense, because black is an energy absorber. If we're talking about magical stuff, though, you got to realize that anyone that's looking at you, whether they're thinking good or ill of you, when you're drawing attention, you're drawing that attention energy into yourself. You can direct that into objects of power, into your own consciousness, into, especially if it's flattering stuff. So, like, even when I was a complete fat fuck, I still like to be, at least look like the male side of the power couple, right? I like to look good, even though I was a fat bastard at it. And that's hard because I couldn't find the right clothes to do it, but it's getting easier now. I like to stand out but not be weird looking. No, excuse me, scratch that. I like to be weird looking and to stand out, but to be like, that's pretty cool though, right? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you know, you don't want to be wearing fucking clashing neon pastels. Like, ooh,
I'm not trying to look like Urkel.
Yeah. Okay, well put. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I do look at it, like if people look at me and they think I'm out of place, it's because I look like I'm cosplaying all the time or something. That's different. But that's more like what I prefer. If I'm gonna look weird and like in a way people don't love, it's because I look like I'm cosplaying a character or something. Not that I cosplay, but you know. So, I forgot to show this. I'm going to show this, and then we're going to do our roundup of final thoughts here. I just finished this. I bought this off an Etsy page. I wish I remember the name of it. I'd plug it. But I got this, it's that time of year, so I'm all into Lovecraft current stuff again, and so I'm always looking for stuff that really reminds me of the mythos, if you will. And, of course, everything's Cthulhu this, Cthulhu that. Well, I was lucky to find an Azathoth and a Yog-Sothoth pin. This is actually a pin, but I went out in the shop today and I turned it into a medallion. But I darkened, let's see if I can, there we go. So it's basically Azathoth in the heart of chaos there.
I like
and it
that.
just looks, it's pretty bitchin' actually in real life. I'm actually loving it. Then I have this other one that I don't think I'm ever going to do anything with. It looks too much like a badge you'd see in somebody's wallet, like they're a fucking, like, I don't know. It's pretty cool looking though. This one's for Yog-Sothoth.
Oh no, if that's a badge in somebody's wallet, then that's a real fucking Hail Hydra type badge. I
Right?
fucking hate that I just referenced a Marvel
You
movie.
did. You completely lamed out.
Oh, fucking Disney.
I don't know if I'd make that a necklace or not. What do you think?
No, is that not already a necklace? I would fucking
No,
make
it's
it
a
into
lapel
one. I dig
pin.
that.
It's like one of those. It's like one of those pins that you.
Oh yeah, no, fuck the pin. I don't know. I'm not big on pins, but that
No,
would make a
I-
fucking bitchin' necklace.
I took this. This was a pin. This other one was a pin, and I sawed off with my Dremel. I took off the pin part, and then I drilled a hole in it and attached a clasp. So I don't know. Do you think this looks better as something like in my wallet or as a?
No, absolutely. Fucking wear that.
Yeah.
Like that
as a
needs
necklace?
to be necklace or
Or stick
I
it on
don't-
my coat
I don't
like
know.
a lapel pin.
I don't know. I'm biased against the stick it on your coat thing. I don't know, necklace or fashion it as something that you wear. Something that
So-
you wear that can be removable.
Like
I don't
that's
know,
what
I
it would be
just
roughly.
just really like that.
It almost looks like a police badge. I don't know. It looks like I'm wearing my police badge like on my necklace like a detective or some shit. I don't know. It's cool though. I do like it. I mean, I might actually stick. You know what I might do? Maybe I'll take one of these. I have some wood boxes I keep meaning to make shit out of.
Victoria says eye patch.
Oh fuck yeah, man! I've always wanted one of those. Like, did you ever see Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country? With the
No.
Klingon guy. Well, this is one Klingon guy that's got an eye patch that's like fucking riveted to his head. That's what I've always wanted. Like, I'll go blind for that. That'd be pretty cool.
Fuck yeah, that would be cool.
Dan R says he's empowering his pins. Shut up! You're bending it. You're ruining the whole thing.
You're not supposed to know the secret.
You're not supposed to tell everybody. God, so lame.
Astarte says wear it on a western cut vest.
All right. All right. I can
I
see
mean,
that.
I don't know. That skews a little bit too much village people for my taste. Not that they're bad, but I don't know.
So here's the murder of crows, and then we're gonna go. So if you tune into the stream itself, Flesh, you'll hear it. Now, slow this down and make it lower.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to pull it up. All right.
I guess it is the same. I guess I just removed the crow part.
Oh, I can hear it now. Yeah. No, I think you definitely tuned it lower.
Yeah, I loves it. I loves it. All right, let's do the wrap up, guys. We've been here all night.
It was
Again,
a fun stream, though.
if you're here for the first time and you don't hate my guts, or even if you do, fuck it. Subscribe to this channel. Give me an upvote if you don't mind. Give me that updoot. Slam that like button, curse it, oppress it, hex it. Turn that like button into your servitor and use it to give me your love and adoration. Of course, share alike with this stuff. Just don't send it to like all the Christian groups to get me a bunch of hate mail, please. But yeah, so If you like this channel, if you don't hate what I'm doing, please subscribe. And if you're really interested, go to the first link in the Linktree link in the description. Sign up for the email list. You won't be sorry if it starts spamming you. You don't like it, you can unsubscribe anytime. So you can absolutely follow me that way, because I don't trust social media anymore. I don't trust big tech. I don't trust Facebook. I definitely don't trust Twitter for anything. Twitter's like the lowest of the low. Facebook's second lowest. YouTube's third lowest. So in that order, YouTube's my favorite, which ain't saying much. I don't trust them to get notifications out. I don't get them to tell the truth about me. So if you like my stuff, sign up for the newsletter this way, and I upload stuff once a week. I give you a content digest so you can go see the stuff you missed. Flesh Priest is currently showing off my books on screen. I have 3 books in publication right now on Amazon. I like them. I'm proud of them. I sell them. The prices went down recently, so they're worth it if you haven't gotten one. Now's the time. They're available on Kindle and paperback. No hardcover at this point. Maybe never will be. My next book is in the works. Fleshy, here's the thing. I don't want to go back on my word, but that book is looking to be a full-size book, and then I don't know if I want to release that for free. What is your recommendation on that? Because I was one thing when it was like 20,000 words, but we're approaching 60,000. And I don't know about releasing that for dead ass free anymore. What do you think? Do you think that I'm going against my promise if I only release it for pay, or do you think I should still do it for free for a while? What do you think I should do?
You know what, I want to give that some full thought because not everybody will feel the same way. I don't personally feel like it would be a breaking of the promise if it was promised, this is what I expect to put out and you will get it for free, and then it turns out to be a whole lot more. But I do think that it would be fair to, put out, here's the main bulk of the work or whatnot for free for people. I don't know. Let that cook a little bit. I don't want to fully say just on the spot. I want that to settle a little bit first.
Yeah, because we'll have to see, because I'm going to be trimming a bunch too, so maybe it'll get cut back down. Because I don't feel like releasing, like if it's like 30,000 words, like to me that's too short to only expect people to pay for it. Because I mean, that's, honestly, that's a booklet size book, and I'm not going to make much on that personally. I wouldn't charge that much. Maybe I'd charge $10 for it, maybe 12, something like that.
I will say definitely, like, because you've already made the promise, I definitely think that the people who are there should get something for free. But, if it ends up being a whole hell of a lot more than you originally expected, then, yeah, to be determined.
Yeah, all right, because I don't want to go back on my word. I mean, the other option is that I release a smaller work, maybe something related or not, but a smaller work. Like, remember I was doing that autobiography, I don't know if you call it autobiography, but that anecdotal story, teaching story of like the first year of my magical return, all that. I was going to release a book where it was like, here's the first workings of the Nyarlathotep, here's the Malthus stuff, here's all that stuff. And it was like, almost like a story. Maybe that I'll release for free instead. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that stuff's already out there on YouTube and stuff, so.
Yeah, I think as long as you're open, which obviously you are about it, we're talking about it on a live stream right now. As long as you're open and honest about it, I think people will understand, at least the right people. Mm-hmm. As long as you're not making it into a day one DLC type of deal.
No, no.
Which I know you wouldn't.
The original thing was going to be a 1,200 word, essay for Patreon only. Then it ballooned up to about 12,000 words. So I'm like, this is like a small book. I can't just put this on Patreon. I want this to get out. And so I figured, all right, I'll do it. I'll edit it up and we'll see how big I'll try not to let it get too big. And then I'll release that as a free booklet. Then it went to 22,000. I'm like, well, I'm still willing to release this for free. Now it's hitting 50, 60,000. And that's, to put in perspective, Shadownomicon was, I think, 80,000. So that's I think it's a fair size book. So Become the Maelstrom's 150 something thousand. So you know, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe we'll put it up to a vote sometime and see what people think.
Yeah, or hey, even if it's like, what did you say the original was intended to be 12,000 or whatnot?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if it's, you
Release like 3 chapters or something.
yeah, or let's say just as an example right now, you pass along the full work to me before it's released, and then I edit these are the choicest choice cuts. So you're still getting everything. There's a couple extras, but this is like the main fucking bit, and you're getting it for free, just like promised. This was the original expectation, and this is what you're getting. There's some extra that's, I don't mean to be dismissive when I say this, but there's extra fluff in there, and if you want the full book, you can get that. But, this is the real meat and body, the meat and potatoes of what you can expect.
So right now, not counting the cutouts, because I'm probably going to cut out 10,000 words easily, it's 62,000, and I'll probably add another 20,000 before it's done. So it's probably going to be in the ballpark of 70 or 80,000, like a Shadownomicon. And some of this stuff is so dense, like cerebrally dense. I mean, I am literally explaining to you why physical reality is an illusion, like in scientific terms, like things that you can look up potentially and validate. It's not just me being a goofball, which means some people are going to potentially like zone out on it, right? Some people are going to be like, oh, this is too much like science class. I'm not putting any mathematical formulas in there, but it's going to be like, I didn't know I was going to be getting into things with atomic structures here. I thought we were just going to be talking, okay, because it's important to me some of the premise of this book, and I don't want to go too much longer. Some of the premise of this book is you've got to realize that everything you think of as you is an illusion. This way you can shift that illusion around into different versions of you that you want to see, right? So you've got to become aware that your body is a transient illusion. Your body that you think, this is my body. This body is changing every millisecond. It's changing so much that it's not really one thing. You're constantly breathing in new air and exhaling new old air and eating food and shitting it out and drinking and pissing it out. Your body is it's not your body. It's actually like a wave in the ocean. So how do you track that that's what you are? How do you even call yourself solid when the stuff that you're calling solid is entirely made of empty space that are really fields of measurable force, and all of force is something counteracting each other. So I've got to, like, all of these different things I've got to deconstruct so that you realize that pretty much everything that you identify yourself as, you can see why it's illusory. That way you can do magic the right way. This way you can shift your consciousness, because you realize, why do you see yourself as this body? What's happening is your consciousness is staying focused on this body, like we did in that last live stream with the fractal, with the fit and all that shit.
Yeah.
You're focusing on this thing, and that's what you think you are. So it's Become the Maelstrom was pretty cerebral, but this is going to be, like, people are asking for something a little bit more than a 101. This is a 101, but it's a 101 that you I hate to toot my own horn, somebody's gonna say it's not that complicated. This is a 101 that you give to, like, the PhD guys.
It's a 102.
I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's the right word. I mean, I don't know what a 101 even is, honestly. I hear 101's the beginner version. This is definitely, like, you've got to already have your masters to get this. No, I'm lying. I'm overselling it.
Which, hey, I'll say, because I've been very clear before on the streams that I have not finished any of your books. And in some of the ways where I'm leading with that is that when I read them, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass or sell you because I'm your friend or anything, is that when I read the shit, it really feels like speed reading through it would be doing it a disservice, where I really feel like you pack things really dense in there that require a little bit of let me sit on this and think, where just after a page, I feel like I'm going to set this down now and I'm going to let that really just fucking simmer for a little bit because I feel like if I keep going on and getting hit by too much all at once, it's just going to kind of lose the forest for the trees or lose the trees for the forest, whichever way is applicable in this sense. So I feel like if you're saying like, oh, become the maelstrom is going to be nothing compared to this, like that's probably going to be a fucking lot. I'm going to probably have to stop after every paragraph.
I mean, I could probably read you a paragraph if you want me to just.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. For everybody, I see, I think 37. It's kind of small font from where I'm looking. So for everybody who's interested in that and hanging around this late in the stream, we appreciate you. And maybe this will be a little bit of a little teaser, maybe something you're interested in.
Yeah, give me a second.
No pressure.
Let me find like a page or a paragraph.
Ooh.
Let's see what I can find here.
Ooh, Dorian says that he has the same lights and projector as I do. So obviously, Dorian, you have impeccable taste because I am the creme de la creme of Flavortown. And Victoria says, to what you were saying about our bodies being mostly empty space, my empty space, my choice.
Yeah, keep them entertained for just another minute.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Keep them entertained. I'm keeping myself entertained right now. Victoria says, is it too much to ask to get the dolphin voice to do the audiobook
fuck
for
off,
the
Victorious.
new book? I feel like that would be the audiobook that we would have to release for free if it wasn't such a... So I've dabbled with voice acting a little bit. I've never tried to record a full audiobook. And just, Jesus Christ, the amount of effort that goes into an audiobook is fucking staggering. Literally all you're doing is reading a book, but all the mixing and making sure your takes are correct and all the playback, oh my God, it is so much effort. Once I really stopped and thought about what goes into an audiobook, I was like, wow, $40 for an audiobook actually sounds really reasonable now.
So here's something. I'll try reading this. Let's see if this is a good spot. I don't know.
Okay.
So I spend about 2 pages sort of, not defining, but suggesting that the reality you see is holographic in a way. Like you see a reality that is not intrinsically real. Okay. That everything you see is like a secondary attribute of something that is real. And so I sort of get into this. Hopefully this goes where I want it to go. I don't remember how this couple paragraphs goes. So we pick off sort of like in the middle of a thought. It says, and yet, despite all the things I just said, it is entirely possible for us, for all of us to be fully aware of a thing on a level that transcends all the facts and details you might say about it. It is possible to be aware of a thing's true essence if you look past all the things that you know about it. This is not an easy idea to understand at first pass because undoubtedly you'll be utilizing all the faculties of reason and intellect to understand what I'm trying to tell you. But let's try anyway. I'm about to do the perfect sphere thing again, but I'm going to do it in a way I think that's maybe a little bit more useful. Take just a moment and think of a perfect sphere. What comes to mind? I'm certain that a clear imaginary representation of a sphere just appeared in your mind, right? If you're a visual thinker, you might see it in your mind's eye. If you're a non-visual thinker, you might describe it, or it might be some sort of an equation that you have that defines it. You might feel it, like you might feel its smooth surface even. But none of these apparitions are what a true and perfect sphere is. No, not even the mathematical definition. All of those things are actually secondary projected attributes of the genuine article. They are only the sensory or intellectual analog of what a genuine perfect sphere is. These things are all a symbolic representation of something utterly abstract, invisible, and intangible. If I were to fire a gun, you would hear a sound. And if you were like pretty much everyone, you would call that sound a gunshot. But that sound is not the gunshot at all, is it? Of course it's not. It's just a wave of sound produced by the gunshot. It's a secondary effect of the gunshot. If you were to watch the muzzle of the gun and witness the gun firing, that too is not the actual gunshot. It is just the interplay of light within the gunshot phenomenon, making even this thing that you see nothing more than a secondary effect of the gunshot as well. If you were to stand up in front of the gunshot and be hit by it, feeling the bullet rip through your flesh and shatter your bones, as real as all those feelings are, even that is not the gunshot. It is merely how a gunshot feels when you stand in its way. Indeed, none of the things we call a gunshot are in fact the actual gunshot. What they do, to summarize, they communicate to us that a gunshot happened, but none of them are the genuine article. Nothing we can measure, idealize, feel, or sense is the gunshot. They are all secondary effects. They tell us a gunshot has occurred, but the gunshot itself is utterly intangible, invisible, and abstract. Even calling it a gunshot is nothing more than a suggestive finger pointing us toward imagining it into being. The gunshot is a material event, while imagining a sphere is an ideal event, but both are equally illusory and unreal, because both are nothing but a collection of relatable symbols that communicate the deeper reality in a way we can comprehend with our minds. In the same way the signs of a gunshot are just symbols for something utterly intangible and abstract, the mental concept of a perfect ideal sphere is a superficial illusory mask for something also utterly abstract. In reality, neither has any intrinsic knowable quality whatsoever. Yet we all seem to know what these things are pointing at. We can't properly define or see or feel them, but we have an awareness that they happen or represent something. We can all summon up the same ideas or recognize these symbols as representing something, and it is this something we are trying to find here now in this dialogue. So that's just a little snippet of where I am trying to pretty much eradicate all of your ideation. So it's actually in a chapter talking about the as above and so below and how they're the same and how they're not actually separate. So hopefully you guys enjoy that little taste. Imagine 62,000 words like that, and hopefully you can sort of see where I'm going with it.
Well, I know as a little bit of feedback, Victoria said in the chat that this gunshot analogy figuratively blew my mind.
Think about it. Is there anything that you can experience in... It is seriously Platonic Astarte. Yes, it is. It's actually I've taken the Platonic forms principle to its actual... Here's the problem with Platonic forms is Plato stopped at the ideation of the form. I don't think he, fully... Maybe he did, but maybe he didn't communicate fully that behind the forms is something intangible and indescribable. So, but yet you know what it is. This is called gnosis. You have a knowledge of it that's not intellectual knowledge. So we will definitely, this will hopefully blow some minds when people read it. When you understand this, you go pretty far, I think, into the rabbit hole. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, let's cut it here. Thank you guys so much for your beautiful support tonight. Thank you for your super chats.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being a fan. Thank you for all the jerks not showing up. And if you did, thank you for showing up and adding to my, to the algorithm, whatever it takes. Thank you for all the special people that showed up. And again, you like what I'm doing, subscribe and share.
Yeah,
Fleshy?
Absolutely. Thank all of you, and mind the shadows. Tell your friends, warn your enemies, and you know what? I'm gonna try this one out. Ask not what you can do for your country, but ask what your country has done unto you.
No, I like be ungovernable. That's what I like. Be ungovernable. That's my new motto. All right, guys, have a great night. Thanks as always.
Take it easy, motherfuckers.
And